and why Eagle fans get their panties in a bunch, and other people get their panties in a bunch when you try to be realistic about your experience in covering sports, your experience in observing sports, and when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, who we clearly said were a very good team, who is a Super Bowl contender. We just looked at the schedule and we thought that maybe there's some losses on this, and the attrition of going from a Super Bowl year to the transition of trying to come back and repeat is a really tough thing to do, and you have to allow for some valleys, and there'll be some peaks, but there'll be valleys, more valleys than they were last year, maybe. So we were trying to be realistic and not say that the Eagles are a bad football team, but that they may end up with a winning total that's tied for a division, and then we have to go to a tiebreaker. In no way did we say the Washington Commanders were a better team than the Eagles, but we said that if you ignore that the Commanders are a burgeoning team, you're a fool, and you drip yourself in homerism, is what happens there, and homerism is not honesty, and we try to be honest here. We'd love to wave an Eagle flag if the Eagles would pay us. Where we're not Dave Spadaro, and we don't get paid by the Philadelphia Eagles, so we have our own honest opinions here. And basically, I would rather roll with the honesty than not. Bill, your thoughts?
Yeah, look at us seeing eye to eye today to start the show on a Friday. It's going to be an easy Friday for us, I think, because I'm right there with you. Look, it's not just John. I think John is being a little bit of a homer, a little bit of a panderer to the Eagles fan base. But I've seen it also from the Philadelphia Eagles fans on social media that when you attempt to be objective and look at this Philadelphia Eagles schedule that's coming up and look at the Washington Commanders, a team that won 12 games last year, and they got better. I haven't heard John Kincade or anyone else talk about the Washington Commanders and say how they've gotten worse. It's all just, they're not going to beat the Eagles. I agree. They're not as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. But here's the thing about the NFL schedule. You don't play each other 17 times. There's many other teams that the Commanders are going to play. The Philadelphia Eagles have the fourth hardest schedule. The Commanders do not, and they have gotten better. I think the Eagles are a lot better team than the Commanders. Head-to-head, I think they would beat them 9 times out of 10, but I think it's important to be objective. And the analogy that I look at this is...
Well, they wouldn't beat them 9 times out of 10.
I think they would. I think
because
they would.
We're already predicting that they're not even going to win 2. We predict a split during the regular season they're going to have.
We do, but if they face each other in the playoffs, I think the Eagles would beat them again, which would be 2 out of 3.
And that's fair.
Right? Would be 2 out of 3.
9 out of 10, for crying out loud.
No, so 2 out of 3 would be more like 6 out of what?
6 out of 9. I get your point.
You get my point.
Go ahead.
But the way I compare it is we all went to school. We all were part of a group project, right? If you and I were in a group project and I said to you, man, this is going to be a tough assignment, you wouldn't respond with, why do you hate this group? No, bro, I'm just not pretending it's an easy A. That's the point I'm making here. It's not an easy A for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And listen, I get it. Everybody who follows the Eagles is a homer. I get it. You want your team. You want to root for your team. Any disparagement in any form, whether it's mild, doesn't come off well to you because you want to hear, well, the Eagles are going to be unbeatable and they're going to win 14 games like they did last year. But they're different seasons, and that doesn't mean they're not going to win another Super Bowl. So for crying out loud, grow the F up is what I say to people who are all upset that we didn't have the Eagles winning 14 games in our predictions. It's funny. We had to win 11. Kincade has a win in 12. And I specifically said there's 2 games in there they could, if they win one of those 2 games, they're going to win 12 games. Like, we were way off? I mean, for crying out loud. Come up with your own material, for crying out loud, when you do a show.
Look, and this isn't just John. I mean, we're going at John because he came at us on the morning show. But like I said, I've seen a lot of fans who even came at me with some of the things that were posted yesterday from the station saying, look, it's a tougher schedule. I think it's going to be more of a roller coaster. And like I tried to say yesterday, what the Eagles have done the last 3 seasons is not the norm. 10-game winning streaks in the NFL is not the norm. And as much as I think the Philadelphia Eagles have a really good football team and are completely capable of repeating as Super Bowl champs, it's not going to be easy. And I don't understand how acknowledging it won't be easy makes you a hater or a Commanders fan. It's being objective. If you want us to just come on here and wave our pom-poms, go Eagles, 17-0, yeah, that's what we'll do, but I don't think that makes good radio.
No, if you want to do that, if you're asking us to do that, we're not going to do it anyway. So we're going to be true to ourselves here. This is our style. True to ourselves. We look at it and we go, yeah, you know what? It's really difficult to repeat a wonderful year that you had last year, where you won the Super Bowl and you had all these win totals. The schedule gets a little tougher. Everybody plays you as if it's their Super Bowl, and there's room for attrition. So that's all we're saying.
Yeah, that's all we're saying. And then
grow up.
Now, John also turned into Daryl Morey this morning, because what he started citing was, well, the Vegas odds say, well, if we go by Vegas odds, then the 76ers would have been in the Eastern Conference Championship, according to Daryl Morey.
The Vegas odds are telling. They're important. I get it. And the fact that the Commanders have 9.5 wins as their total is pretty telling to me. I mean, it's almost like it tells you to go under. But I think that is a team that is on the growth. They're not as good as the Eagles. They weren't as good as the Eagles last year, obviously, and we saw that. But it doesn't mean that they're, if you look at their schedule, look at the Eagles' schedule, maybe they get a little bit of a break in their schedule, which helps them get to 11 wins. I don't know. Maybe they get 10. Maybe they get 9. Maybe it's an under. I mean, I don't know. We're just looking at this and we're trying to anticipate. We're trying to predict. It's all. It doesn't mean we don't want the Eagles to succeed.
Look, and if you want to look at the Vegas odds, you're right. The win total, we talked about that yesterday, was a little surprising for the Commanders. But when you look at the division odds, Eagles minus 145, Commanders second at plus 230. To me, at this point in the year, that's not a drastic difference. But what's even more telling to me, a lot of people are saying, oh, Jaden Daniels is going to have that sophomore slump. Oh, he's going to have that sophomore slump. And you're not basing that off of anything that Jaden Daniels has done. You're just basing it off of what you saw with C.J. Stroud and some other quarterbacks. But look at the MVP odds in the NFL. Jaden Daniels has the 5th best odds. Better than Jalen Hurts. Better than Saquon Barkley to be the MVP of the league. I do believe in Jaden Daniels. If that makes me a Commanders fan by being objective that he's a good young quarterback, I don't know what people want to hear. I'm not going to sit here and put my head in the sand and say, Jaden Daniels stinks, because he doesn't. And that's just reality.
As it pertains to Mr. Kincade, I mean, this is a guy who got his panties in a bunch when Amy Fadul called him a hypocrite. Meanwhile, he tried to humiliate our entire show this morning. What the hell? Put that on a balance scale. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Rick Todd Presser at about 10:30. We'll have it. But we'll take your reaction to what we did yesterday. We had the Eagles with 11 wins, and we had the Commanders maybe tying them for the division and having to go to a tiebreaker. It may turn out that way. It may not. We're just speculating like everybody else. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
Connor.
Show 97.5 The Fanatic. Bill, give me an example of what the people were saying about us only having the Eagles winning 11 games, maybe 12. Like, what was the reaction?
Let me read you some of these.
Read some of these.
So this is somebody on my Instagram here. This was me talking about not even projecting the wins. This was a video of me just saying that the schedule is difficult, which, no matter how you look at it, it's the fourth hardest schedule. You base it off last year's record or you base it off projected wins, it's the fourth hardest schedule. So I'm acknowledging how hard it is. This is from Ferry Nick. Dude, this is becoming mind-numbing. Wait for this. Mind-numbing, excuse me. Wait for this. You ready? The Philadelphia Eagles are a damn good football team who's well-coached. Y'all worry about everyone else. They have to play us. Shut up with this nonsense, you juice-head turkey.
See, that's just, come on. People,
by saying it's a hard schedule.
Just grow up. All right? Come on now. He's offended, but we put a prediction out there because we're looking at it realistically.
And then I saw on Twitter, too, an Eagles content creator. Clips of video.
Content creator.
Yeah. Clips of video of Maurice Jones-Drew and Michael Robinson on NFL Network projecting wins and losses for the Eagles. They predicted an 11-6 season, just like we did. And it was shared from this content creator, and the title says, "How quickly the national media turns on the Philadelphia Eagles." 11 wins.
This is the thing that bugs me more than anything, this provinciality, which borders on insanity.
Dude.
It's like, well, people are always picking on us.
It frustrates me.
And like, I'm not one of these guys that goes, the Cowgirls or what does Kincade call the Commanders? He has this special little name for the Commanders that means that.
I'm not sure. I know he always
demeans nicknames that demeans
Brian Johnson.
The other
but
team.
Here's the thing: 11 wins. Because I went back and looked at this last season. Every single NFL team that won 11 games made the playoffs, and 3 divisions were won with 11 wins. So you cannot say, if someone is predicting 11 wins for the Eagles, that they've turned on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's ridiculous. It's this over-the-top pandering to Eagles fans from people, and it bothers me. People are getting on me because I'm wearing a Flyers shirt today. That was more to rub it in your face after our argument yesterday. But, you can't be objective wearing a Flyers shirt. Well, you can. Look, I'm not going to hide the fact that I am a fan of the Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Phillies. I want them to win every time they play. But I'm also not going to look at it and put my head in the sand and not be objective about the analysis. And I have been. And people, you're never objective. I didn't think the Phillies were doing anything.
You were objective in supporting the Sirianni, weren't you? I mean, you were waving an eagle panic when you were urging people that the Sirianni was a good coach.
Everybody wanted him fired. But also, with the Phillies last year, I told you I wasn't feeling good about that team headed into the playoffs. I do think that you can be a fan and want them to win, but also be objective in how you analyze the team. And when you look at the Eagles, they are set up to repeat. But we also all acknowledge that the defense got a little bit worse from last year. They lost starters. We need to rely on guys stepping up. I'm hopeful and confident that they can do it, but they also have a tougher schedule this year than they did last year. And we also got very lucky the last couple of seasons with injuries. You got to hope that continues. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Eagles. Doesn't mean I don't want them to win. Doesn't mean I can't think that they can repeat. It's just not going to be an easy A.
I'm just saying, as a sports talk host, I have one way to do it. People want to do it another way. That's fine. I don't do pathetic fake bonding. I really don't. I try to be as truthful and honest as possible, and I don't try to do fake bonding so I can get people on my side. If you want to come on my side, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm giving you my honest opinion. That's the only way I can do it, and the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah, look at us today. Bonding over our anger towards John Kincade.
Well,
Kincade brought us together today.
It's not anger over him. I mean, come on. What he did this morning was pathetic. It's kind of like, really, it's just fake bonding. And maybe he senses that he needs that. I don't know, with the Philadelphia audience. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies are back in action tonight after losing the previous series to the Cardinals. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Phillies host the Pirates this weekend. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight, and Andrew Haney for the Pirates. Zach Wheeler is scheduled to go tomorrow night, and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday, who is scheduled to face the Pirates ace Paul Skeens on Sunday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game is at 6:45. We all know the Flyers have found their guy. New head coach Rick Tocchet will talk to the media at 10:30. We'll carry that press conference live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew Painter pitched 5 innings last night on 71 pitches for the Iron Pigs. He allowed 5 hits and 2 runs, with occurring 3 strikeouts as well. This update is brought to you by Electrical Workers Local 269 and the Electrical Training Alliance. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 269, NECA, and the Electrical Training Alliance can offer a career with no college debt. To learn more, go to IBEW26.com. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Missanelli Show. We're hear from Rick Tocchet at about 10:30. His intro presser. As much as I didn't agree with it, what are you going to do? Now it's like, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
With Tocchet?
Just like when Sirianni was coming back for this season, I said, I'll have my eyes open. I'll have to evaluate as it goes along. Didn't start out that well, but then it did. So you never know.
Yeah, you don't. And I've told you before, I don't think that the Tocchet hiring was necessarily a home run, but it could work out. But it's going to start with Briere getting them some players. I mean, it doesn't matter who the coach is right now. You come in with this current roster, no, you're not going to win anything. So now what they have to hope, and this was part of the reason I think they brought in a guy like Rick Tocchet, is they have to hope that players around the league want to come here. See, this was one of the issues that I thought we had with John Tortorella. And Chris Pronger touched on this before in a podcast. Do players not want to come here and play for Tortorella? And I know there's some who say that's ridiculous. Well, I think John Kincade actually said that was ridiculous. But from what you hear from some of the players around the National Hockey League, they all didn't love John Tortorella. Tocchet seems to be a guy that is universally respected around the league. Does that help them acquire some talent of players who want to come play for him?
Can we hear, Sean, do you have that soundbite? Was it Brian Boucher?
1 second.
Yeah, Brian Boucher said, he lauded him in saying that his experience is going to count heavily, and he knows the players. He's really good with the players, and they really play for him. We got that, Sean? All right, let's hear Boucher here.
But he also knows how to talk to these players because he's been in every single situation you could ever imagine. As a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, he gets it. He knows what these players are going through.
He missed the playoffs 7 of 9 years. I mean, seriously. I mean, I know you want to laud the guy, but he knows the players. And, he's great with players. Well, he's great with players. They would have made the playoffs more than he did.
I understand it. Look, that's what I said. I am not saying that the Tocchet hire was a home run, in my opinion. It's not the angle that I would have taken if I was the Philadelphia Flyers. Where you and I had our disagreements yesterday is I don't think he was hired just because he played for the Flyers back in the day. That this was not just let's get another Flyer in here. The guy was a coveted coach throughout the NHL.
The guy was a coveted coach? Why? He missed the playoffs 7 of 9 years, Bill. If you were, this is why it's different for Flyer fans and Flyer perspective. If the Eagles had hired a coach that missed the playoffs 7 of his 9 seasons, what would you be saying?
Well, one.
No, seriously, answer the question.
Hold on. One, that's not Jeffrey Lurie. You don't like hiring retreads.
That's not the point. It's a hypothetical. They hire a coach that missed the playoffs 7 of 9 years. What would you be saying? That he really.
Let me flip it on you though. What if the Eagles had hired a guy who was the coach of the year 2 years ago? But you look at it both ways, though. I get it. He missed the playoffs. It's a small
sample size being coach of the year as opposed to missing the playoffs for 7 of 9 years. That means you're not very successful.
We did this yesterday. One of the issues with Tocchet was he coached in Arizona all those years. They didn't have good teams. He had them overperform.
If he was that good of a coach, he would have been able to coach them. What do you think?
Look,
a coach is there for no reason. A coach is supposed to lift the level of your play.
You and I have had this battle when it comes to baseball, and you talk about how the manager can only do so much. When it comes to hockey coaches, they can only do so much too. They're more of motivators.
They can do more than what a baseball manager can do. A baseball manager can't instruct how to hit a fastball. He can't.
And in the NHL, the reason why coaches have such short shelf lives is because it's mostly about motivating the guys that you currently have. This isn't
all right,
rocket
he
science.
didn't motivate them to the point where they missed the playoffs.
But when he was in Arizona, he didn't have good teams.
I'm saying he didn't motivate a team that may have been mediocre to overachieve.
Well, you could argue that they did in Arizona, that they did overachieve at times because they weren't very good.
Just won't give
and then
this
when he
up,
went to
man.
Vancouver,
You just won't give this up.
Mike,
You have a different perspective when it comes to hockey. I don't want to get into this again.
2 years ago.
You have a different perspective.
Listen to me.
You look at it differently.
2 years ago.
You're all over Rob Thompson. The guy's been a successful manager.
Not this year. I've been supporting him.
But in the past.
And I never called for his job. I said he deserves to come back, Rob Thompson, and see what he could do this year. But 2 years ago, Vancouver Canucks under Rick Tocchet had 109 points, man. Now, they didn't have a lot of success in the playoffs that season. They only won one series.
1 year. He's been in the playoffs twice. He got eliminated in the first round once. He got to the second round twice with that wonderful team. They got eliminated in the second round.
I'm not doing this again.
We're
not doing it again.
You can't do it again.
We're not doing it again. Listen, we will see if this turns out to be the right hire. I am on the record saying I would not have went this way, but they did. I don't think it's a disastrous hire. I don't think it's just a former Flyer who's a terrible coach, and that's the only reason they brought him in. You got to give hockey coaches players. There's very few, if any, hockey coaches in the history of the NHL that had success without talent. It's not a game where you can strategize so much that you can have subpar players
I'm just
performing
taking
at
issue with this Boucher quote. Like Mr. Wonderful they've hired. And I like the guy. It's hard for me to do this because I like the guy. I've had many conversations with him. It's really difficult.
People in the YouTube chat are saying I need a Tocchet song like I did for Sirianni.
Yes.
I'm all maybe Tocchet man. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe we'll work on something.
Burning out a fuse up here alone.
He's a Tocchet man.
All right, let's go to the chat board at least. We were waiting for Tocchet to. Is that presser going to start soon, Sean? Do you know?
Yeah, they're should be coming out in a moment.
Did you see the imaging they got for this?
No.
They're doing it on the ice at the Wells Fargo Center.
Oh, really?
Is it? There's a lot of pomp and circumstance here for this Rick Tocchet announcement.
Well, I should take it the high road here on this.
They really are. They're excited.
Ex-Flyer.
You heard Danny talking to Sean yesterday.
Ex-Flyer, that's why.
You heard Danny and Coots talking yesterday.
All right, here we got Rick Tocchet.
Before we start, follow up on Joe, I just want to acknowledge our alumni that are here, our fans that joined us, and all of our staff being present here. This is a big day. It's a big day for the organization. I'm very proud to announce Rick Tocchet as our new head coach for the Flyers from this point on. So it's a big day. I'm very excited. I think it's an exciting time for the whole organization, and good times ahead coming up. Before you start asking me questions, the one thing I want to make clear is the fact that the plan doesn't change here. Rick has been part of this before, has coached some younger teams, has coached some veteran teams. We see him as the long-term solution for our head coaching position. The other part that we touched on before, I think I was at my year-end presser, you asked me what we were looking at for a coach. One thing that I said was we needed a teacher. And I think there's nobody better than Rick to teach our young guys. I saw it firsthand myself when I came in the league as a 19, 20-year-old. I had the chance to play with Rick, and he was a mentor to myself, and I learned a lot from him. One of the things is, the time he spent on the ice working on his craft, and now he wants to pass that on. He's done it for the last few years, and I know he wants to do the same thing for our young team and our young guys that are coming up. The other thing that I mentioned was we needed a communicator. That's one thing Rick Tocchet does is he builds relationships. He's good at it. I talk to a lot of players around the league, players that are still playing, players that are now in management positions, scouting position, coaching positions around the league. And the one thing that kept coming up is how good of a communicator he is with his players, especially, and how he builds relationships. So part of the reason why I'm so excited to have him as our next head coach. Thank you, Rick.
Well, it was really good. Thanks, Danny. I appreciate that. Oh, that's good. Thanks, man. don't even know where to start. As I was walking out, Jonesy said you're walking the plank. So I don't know what that means. Listen, I'm so excited to be in this area. I was a young kid, 19, when I came over the Walt Whitman Bridge to play my first game at the Spectrum. And now I've been gone for about 20-something years. Learned a lot as a player and as a coach over those years. I've been very lucky to get ideas off some of the greatest minds in hockey the last 25 years, and I hope to bring back some of that knowledge. But speaking for the area, the fans, I mean, how do you not love the Flyer fans? I remember, I think it was you guys held the draft here, I don't know, many years ago, and I was with Pittsburgh at the time. Let's hear it, boo. So anyways, I remember going up announcing the first pick, and I got booed, and I was like, man, I love these guys. So that's what it means to be a Flyer, right? Heart, passion, winning, going through this process with the ownership, Dan Hilferty, Jonesy, and Danny, the plan that they had, listening to where they wanted to go with this roster, and it really excited me where they're going. We know it's not going to be easy. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's my job to develop these players. We got some really good hockey players on this hockey team, and I take it very seriously to make sure that they maximize their talent. So, I mean, I could go on for hours, but I'm so excited to be in this area, and I'm very appreciative of the ownership, the management, Dan and Jonesy, for giving me this opportunity and trusting me, with this team. So saying that, I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
All right, we'll open up to the main Q&A. Again, please raise your hand if you'd like the microphone and direct your question to one or both of the individuals up here.
Hey, Rick, over here. Al Morgani from NBC Sports.
Where is he?
Yeah, right.
My soup buddy.
Yeah. Obviously, there are a lot of options for coaches, like musical chairs. What attracted you beyond wanting to come back to the area for a roster like this and where this team is in a rebuild? What sold you on this as being a good place to be?
Yeah, I think when you as a coach or anything in life, you want to check the boxes. Stability, box checked. Relationships, box checked. The passion of, and then obviously the area, the fan base, box checked. But I'm a big relationship guy. I know just from the past being here, working with good people, I think makes you successful. So for me, those are the attractive things for me. Obviously, the roster of the team, the potential, the prospect pool, the cap space that's coming here. There's a lot of positives for this job. It's an attractive job. It's it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best jobs in hockey, and I'm very fortunate to get it.
Rick, Kevin Curzon, The Athletic. You mentioned stability was the first thing that you just mentioned in the boxes there. When you look at this organization, that was maybe an issue for a little while, up until a couple of years ago. What gives you the confidence that it is in a stable place right now, not just maybe from a hockey perspective, but also from a management perspective?
Well, it's like I said, going through the plan. I mean, if you look at it, what do coaches want? There's a lot of draft picks. There's a lot of prospects, untapped talent. The stability, obviously, of ownership. Sorry, guys. I walked around that practice facility. I walked around here, like the inside, the bowels, right? There's so many tools to work with. I mean, the practice room has 3 sheets of ice. Like, as a coach, you're like, oh my God, these are the things you want as a coach. So those are attractive things to help me be even a better coach. So that's why I think I can't speak for the past. All I know what I see now and the relationship of the people that I deal with now, and it excites me. Breathe. Sorry, I choked up.
Hey, Rick. Adam Kimmelman from NHL.com. You had Travis Sanheim and Travis Connect meet Four Nations. I know that's a small window, but are there any players that either you are familiar with or that you're most looking forward to working with here moving forward?
There's a lot of guys. I'm not going to get in specifics, so I could give you. We could sit for half hour and tell you why I like these players, but there's a lot of talent in this team. Speaking of like a guy like Sanheim, I remember for the Four Nations I was in that meeting about what players, what defense, and I remember I forget where they had him on the depth chart, and I remember like we discussed him and a couple of the high level coaches, the Coopers of the world, and we all talked about, man, this guy can play. And then when he made the roster, how well he played in the Four Nations. I mean, I'm telling you, I was behind that bench, and that's high level stuff. Like I had the best seat in the house, and to see him perform like with the best defenseman in the league, so that's a big plus. To get a frontline defenseman like that on your team is a plus for me. And obviously TK, I thought he was terrific for just getting to know him. Just as an assistant coach at the time, his work ethic, his the way he was in the room with all these guys, I really was impressed with his leadership. So I'm interested, very excited to work with a lot of these guys. I think I can really help some of these guys, not to speak the names, but they got some star players here that in the making, and that's my job to really maximize those guys.
Rick, this is Charlie O'Connor with PHLY, but this question is actually for Danny. Danny, you mentioned about one of the big reasons why you think Rick is a good fit is his abilities as a teacher. You talked about him mentoring you as a player, but I guess what in Rick's track record as a head coach tells you that he'll do a good job teaching this young group?
It's funny, most people would probably focus on the job that he did when he won the Jack Adams a couple years ago, and that was quite the turnaround in a short amount of time that he did there. It was a really impressive year. For me, when I look at the track record, one of the most impressive part that stood out, and that's from watching at the time, was his stint with the Coyotes. He had, and I'm not trying to take it on the players, but he had a pretty depleted lineup at the time, and a team that probably was, I remember at the time that the experts were saying that the Coyotes would be last in the NHL and get the first overall pick, and he made them competitive. They did make the playoffs the one year, and they were in the running, playing good games. So that body of work for me was probably the most impressive part of his coaching. And you can't forget what he did, part of the 2 Stanley Cup, being part of that staff in Pittsburgh, being part of the Four Nations staff last year, working with some of the best players in the world. So, his track record is pretty impressive.
Hey, Rick. Anthony Sanfilippo from Mount Patterson. We hear a lot about your ability to communicate with players, and that's one of the things that these guys like the most about you, bringing you in. We've heard former players of yours talk about how much they've loved playing for you. As a guy who's played in a different era, how did you kind of learn to deal with today's athlete, and what's different about it now than maybe it was when you first broke into coaching?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think breaking in as a player, it's a different era, right? Coaches told you, hey, do this, and you just did it, right? You were scared to ask why. Now this generation, they want to know why. They're smart guys, and they want to know why. We're doing this forecheck because of this. They want to know why we do it this way, and it's my job to make them buy into it, obviously, but you have to accept that as a coach, and I enjoy that. I'm a partner with the players. It's not a dictatorship. Like, you're not going to last in this league if you think you're going to tell these guys what to do every day and have all these type of rules. But I think if you partner up with a player, listen to them, and there's got to be accountability. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely, that's my job to steer the ship. But I think it's important that you let the players steer the ship too. And they have a lot of good ideas. I've learned a lot from a lot of great hockey players. I'm not going to name a bunch of these guys, but there's some high-level guys that I got a chance to talk to and, learn different systems or dealing with players, and then using your staff. in different departments. You got science, you got the mental skills coaches, you got your assistant coach, you got management, ownership. You can't be afraid to use those guys. And quite frankly, sometimes some guys might be better than you at something, and you can't be afraid of a head coach not to utilize those tools.
Rick, Siobhan Nolan from the Hockey News.
Sorry.
You've mentioned how important it is for you to build relationships and communicate with these players. But as someone who is a former player and you have that firsthand experience of being in front of these fans and being in this market, how much of a unique strength is it for you to be able to relate to those players firsthand on that level?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think when a player walks in that door, practice rink of this facility, they want trust, right? And they want accountability, obviously. And they want to feel safe, right? There's a lot of, sometimes people, the world we live in now, a lot of outside noise, and it can affect players. So my job is to create a safe environment for those guys where they can feel as soon as they hit those doors that they're taken care of, that, we're going to help them as much as possible and partner up with them. So, yeah, getting trust from the players is something that from day one is my goal, is to make sure that the players trust me.
All right, that's Rick talking. I like what I heard. Listen, there's nothing not to like about what he just said.
No, a little bit of pandering in there, which I think's okay.
Yeah, some pandering. How could you not love the Flyer fans? I don't like press conferences with applause, but I get it. There's a lot of season ticket holders in there and whatevers that are invested. It's not just a press conference. But he had a lot of good things to say. The stability question was good. They got a lot of draft picks. They got prospects. They got stability of ownership. They got 3 sheets of ice at the practice facility. And Danny Briere said the most important thing that he evaluated was his time with the Coyotes. That he overachieved with them.
I told you that. You don't listen to me. You listen to Dan.
Well, I mean, I only take that so far. They made the playoffs once.
Yeah, they weren't a very good team.
Well, we'll take a break. 610-632-0975. If you want to chime in on that or anything else, including our 11-win prediction on the Philadelphia Eagles that says maybe they'll tie with the Washington Commanders. A lot of people got their panties in a bunch, including one of the people right here at 97.5 The Fanatic, who shall not be named. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies are back in action after losing the previous series to the Cardinals. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Phillies host the Pirates this weekend. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight, and Andrew Haney for the Pirates. Zach Wheeler is scheduled to go tomorrow night, and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday night, who is scheduled to face the Pirates ace Paul Skeens on Sunday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game is at 6:45. And we all know the Flyers have found their guy. Rick Tocchet is their new head coach. Well, in case you missed it, you'll be able to hear the press conference of Rick Tocchet on 97.5thefanatic.com. Andrew Painter pitched 5 innings on 71 pitches for the Iron Pigs last night. He allowed 5 hits and 2 runs on 3, with also recording 3 strikeouts last night up in Syracuse. This update is brought to you by Erie Insurance, celebrating 100 years of protecting your family's most priceless moments. Then, now, always. Erie Insurance, erieinsurance.com. That's erieinsurance.com. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Show 97.5, The Fanatic. Here's how you get in, 610-632-0975. Sean Robbins with us today. Ray is off for his brother's graduation. Congratulations to the Dunn family. Another young lad graduates from college.
That's true.
One from Temple, one from St. Joe.
And guess who just made a cameo in the YouTube chat? Our own Ray Dunn. He checked in. He said he had 5 minutes before the graduation. He checked in to say hello.
Oh.
And then when he was asked if he was going to provide background vocals on Talk Man, he said, I will now be exiting stage left, and he's gone. So we'll have to maybe do that next week with Ray.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long, long time before the Flyers win, and we'll hear Flyer fans whine.
Oh, no. I'm already working on it.
All right. Sean Rodman, what do we have on the text board so far?
All right, so far, we're sticking with Tocchet there. There's been a back and forth on some people. One texter saying there are two reasons the Flyers hired this new coach. One, he played for the Flyers. Two, he was available, and we needed a new head coach.
Well, yeah, I guess that goes without saying. But the first part is what's being debated. Did he get the job because he's the next Flyer? I don't think there is any question that he got the job because he's the next Flyer.
I'm sure it didn't hurt. I'm sure it didn't hurt because they knew him. See, that's the other thing. He played here with Keith Jones. He also played with Danny Briere, but not here. I think they actually played together with the Coyotes.
Yes.
And Briere was a very young player at that time.
He was a rookie that year.
Yeah, so I'm sure all of that factored in. I am just saying, and this is where you and I have been disagreeing, I don't think that's the only reason that they hired him, because that would not make sense why other teams.
What are the
also
other
hired
reasons
him.
then?
Well, you heard Danny Briere kind of mention it. He's supposed to be a very good teacher. That's what they need. They want a good teacher. I think they also wanted to, as much as I wanted to see them kind of think outside the box and maybe go to the college ranks, I do think they wanted to bring in a veteran type of coach who has been around the league, that has a respected resume, even though you don't respect
the
it.
playoffs twice in 9 seasons as a coach. Any other sport in this town, any other team, organization that hires a coach with that kind of a resume gets what? How are fans reacting to that? Any other sport, Bill, please take off your Flyer shirt today.
I'm wearing this for you.
I know you're wearing it, but take it out. Take it out of your brain and tell me what the reaction would be to that.
All right. See, here's when you say he only made the playoffs twice out of 9 seasons. Great argument, but that's not looking at all the facts. Like if we were in a courtroom and you were just presenting that, you'd win. But that's not all the evidence. Well, where was he coaching prior to that? Where were those 9 seasons? Well, he took over a Tampa Bay team that wasn't a very great team at the time. And then he goes to Arizona. That's a terrible market. They didn't have a good team. They overperformed. He actually did bring them to the playoffs once. But when you don't have players in the NHL, what do you want them to do? Under your line of reasoning, Bill Belichick should have never been hired.
I'm merely asking you the question. What would be the reaction to any other coach that was hired by a Philadelphia team? A guy that didn't make the playoffs 7 of 9 years.
Yeah, we'd be skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
all I'm trying to say.
We'd be skeptical. But, and again, I don't want people to think I'm comparing Rick Tocchet to Bill Belichick, but I'm going to make the analogy. When the New England Patriots hired Bill Belichick, he had never been to the playoffs. He had how many terrible seasons in Cleveland? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons in Cleveland. He made the playoffs once.
He was considered a very hot coaching prospect as an assistant under the Bill Parcells wing.
And you just walked right down the line I wanted you to walk, because so was Tocchet. When he was an assistant with the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby sang his praises. They won 2 Stanley Cups with him. So he was a coveted commodity.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just because he was a former Flyer. But I don't care if he is the Bill Belichick of coaching. If they don't get him the players, it's not going to matter.
All right.
So he's got to develop this young talent, and they have to go out there and bring in more.
All right, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show. It's 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live each and every day from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, so back to the Eagles, and I really would love to talk today to people who were put off by the fact that we yesterday didn't stick a pennant in our nose with an Eagle jersey and an Eagle helmet saying they're going to win 16 games. Yeah. You know, I want to talk to the people that hold that against us. Why would you hold that against us? Why would you do that when we're not waving a pom-pom, which we try never to do because we're giving you our honesty. And in our honesty yesterday, we both came up with 11 wins. In fact, I said the line of demarcation was the two games in between there where it's the Packers and the Lions. They could win one of those games to make them win 12 games. But the schedule is difficult. And to think they're going to be 14-3 is just, I think, a little too much. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, that is all we said. And when you look at that schedule and you look at all the factors at play and how hard it is to repeat, 11 wins to me would be a hell of a season, man. Like, not only am I predicting 11 wins, I'm thinking 11 wins is a great season.
You're going the under because 11.5 is the number for them?
I would probably take the under, yes. If I'm picking 11 and the over-under is 11.5. Now, here's what I said yesterday, though. This team gets into the playoffs, whether it's as a wild card team or they win a tiebreaker with the Commanders and they take the division. I still think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, and they go to the Super Bowl. Like, that is how I view this team. Assuming all things are equal as far as health goes, I think the Eagles will go back to the Super Bowl. I just don't know if the 17-game regular season is going to go as smoothly as it's gone in previous years. That's my point.
And we're going to go over our predictions again. So just to make sure that we revise our look at this whole thing, and maybe we come up with more wins. I don't know, but our initial instinct is that the Commanders are this team that's going to be a very competitive team in a division. The Eagles are better. I think if they matched up in the playoffs, the Eagles would still be better. But I think the Commanders are capable of winning a total that may get them into a tie break with the Eagles. So we'll just see how that goes. Let's get to the phone. 610-632-0975. We got Greg in Bethlehem checking in. What's up, Greg?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
How you doing today, Greg?
Knows how to talk
good.
to the.
I don't think, judging by the Eagles' schedule, it's easy to put a ceiling on it. I mean, I think 12 is probably a ceiling, but we don't really know. I mean, are we assuming that the offense is plug and play, and Kevin Patullo is just going to put the offensive coordinator hat on and pick up where they left off?
That's a good point. Now, last year they had a new offensive coordinator too, and they soared. I don't know. Their personnel is certainly good enough.
Well, I think we're going to see more Nick Sirianni influence this year because it's his good buddy.
Yeah, Patullo's his boy. Yeah.
I think, we're going to see more of Sirianni's thumbprints on the offense, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not.
I hear you, but still, it's hard. See, the problem is they know what the Eagles do now. They know they're run-centric. So the way you defend them is you kind of take that away, and you hope that your secondary can handle what they're going to have to handle something significant with A.J. Brown and Devontae. It's not easy for a defensive coordinator. Just because they're going to take away the run, that doesn't mean Jalen Hurts can't soar. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely. I mean, we have the personnel to be successful. It's just a question of, the coordinator put them in the right position or, calling the right plays, and we've seen how that can go one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think, 12 wins, 11 wins, 10 wins, I mean, they're all possible because we don't really know how the offense is going to perform yet.
Yeah, I hear you. I got you, Greg. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Leadoff hitter, Greg.
Leadoff hitter, Greg. No song today, though, because I don't know if Sean knew where.
All right, you want to do this as we go into our first break of the 11 o'clock hour?
We could do it, but real quick, something that Greg said, that he thinks this is going to be more Sirianni having his fingerprint on the offense.
And that's not a good thing, he said. Well, and that offended you.
No, that did not offend
me.
But here's where I think he's wrong. This is Jalen Hurts' offense, man. Like, this has become Jalen Hurts' offense. And I think it's always had a lot of Nick Sirianni influence going all the way back to when Sirianni first came here. He's a terrible play caller. I don't want Sirianni anywhere near play calling.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley's offense, isn't it?
It is, but in the same respect, they build an offense based off of the quarterback that they have. And I don't think you're going to see drastic changes next year from Kellen Moore to Kevin Patullo because you still have Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. Yeah, they could go run heavy, but it's the type of runs that they run because of the quarterback being Jalen Hurts. You're not going to have the same type of running game if you had Matthew Stafford back there. Like, you can run the RPOs. You could do different things with Jalen Hurts back there that you don't do with other types of quarterbacks. This is a Jalen Hurts offense, and I think it will always be a Jalen Hurts offense as long as he's the quarterback. Doesn't matter. I mean, this is now how many play callers this guy has been through. I think we're talking he had Kellen Moore last year, Brian Johnson the year before, Shane Steichen the year before that. Sirianni started. He had Doug Peterson. I mean, it's every year the guy's changing play callers. I don't think it's going to matter. Jalen's going to Jalen.
Jalen's going to Jalen.
Jalen's going to Jalen. Maybe he needs a song, too.
Look at that. All right, let's take a break. When we come out, we'll go over our predictions again to see if we miscounted. And we can either get people on board or get people to hate us for our final total. Because everybody in the world does this. Oh, I'll win this, I'll win that one. 14. Well, we'll see. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Text or by phone call. We're back after this.
ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I thought this was our Quentin Grimes song.
It's our Grimes song.
Speaking of Grimes, before we get back to the schedule here.
Yeah.
I saw an article in The Athletic today.
Uh-huh.
And they floated that people are expecting the Sixers to shop the number 3 pick. And that would be a lot different than what the messaging has been from Daryl Morey and the Sixers so far, that they like whoever's going to be there at 3. You know, obviously, you're not going to say you don't like them because then you wouldn't get as much value. But that was the first time I actually saw it being reported that it's expected they're shopping that pick. That would get me excited.
Yeah, who were they shopping it for?
I don't know, but it's going to be something different. I mean, this whole Ace Bailey, I honestly did not watch a lot of Rutgers games, but I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos on him, a bunch of highlights on him. The kid does look like he's got potential to be a really good player in the NBA. He's just young, and it's going to take some time for it to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be angry if they end up drafting Ace Bailey. It's just I don't think it helps you this year, and now we're probably in purgatory another year or two.
Yeah. But by the way, a couple of odds. The Boston Celtics tonight are a 2.5-point underdog against the Knicks. Yeah, are you suggesting that the Celtics will win this game? Even now, it's the second game without Tatum. Usually, that really comes into play.
I already made the bet with you that the Celtics are going to win the series. I may hedge my bet tonight and go Knicks.
Yeah?
Because if the Celtics win tonight, I think they win Game 7 back in Boston. This is in Madison Square Garden tonight, right?
Yeah.
What's the line?
2.5.
2.5 which way, though?
Celtics are dog.
Dog.
Celtics are getting 2.5.
I think the Knicks win tonight. I don't know though, man. Did they blow their opportunity? Probably not. They want. It's going to be tough to win on the Knicks court. I think the Knicks win tonight. I think I'm owing you a breakfast sandwich next week.
Okay.
Where are you going on this?
I don't know. I might. This might be a pass. I can't figure this out right now. Boston's got a fighting spirit. The Knicks may have to win a Game 7 in Boston.
Wouldn't be easy.
It will. I think it will be. I think Game 7 will be easy.
So you think there's a chance Celtics win tonight?
I think the longer it goes on for the Celtics, the less zip they will have, even at home.
I don't know. You saw it happen, though, almost every year with Thibodeau coach teams. They hit that wall at some point. With how hard he plays these guys,
yeah,
do they hit a wall?
To me, that's a myth, how hard he plays them. They show no sign of that at all. They play hard in every fourth quarter.
They do, and they're led by Brunson, who's just
I think
that
this whole thing is a myth that he plays his starters too long. It's really a fiction too when you look at the minutes that these guys play as opposed to other the star minutes that others play.
Well, this year too. I mean, the team that the Sixers played last season, I don't think had as deep of a bench as this Knicks team does.
All right, let's get into our predictions again. We did this yesterday. It caused apparently it caused a lot of controversy. People got offended that we didn't have the Eagles winning like 15 games.
So it's my understanding that not only did the W's and L's cause a stir, I didn't know this until recently. On the morning show this morning, they played a clip of me talking about how it was a tough schedule and that it was the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL and the things I didn't like about it with the 4 straight playoff games from weeks 2 to 5 and the 5 games to end the season. They played that this morning and then decided to rip me about it. Like, that's just facts. They play 4 straight playoff teams from weeks 2 to 5, and they play 4 of 5 playoff teams to finish the season.
Yeah, every team they play in the NFC was in the playoffs.
Yeah, those are just facts.
So when we put it all together, we go, okay, there's attrition. The enthusiasm for after winning a Super Bowl, it's going to be tough for them to recapture that same type of level. The fact that everybody looks at them as their own Super Bowl. The fact that they're going to adjust to what the Eagles have done successfully. Like, all those factors come into play for me, and that's why I go, okay, these are wins, these are losses. So here's the way we play it out. Through the first 4 games, I got them 2-2. Now, Bill has them losing to the Rams. I have them beating the Rams at home, but losing at Tampa Bay. It could go the other way around. They could lose to the Rams at home and then rebound and beat Tampa Bay. Either way, I got them 2-2 with the Cowboys at the Chiefs, the Rams, and at Tampa Bay. Tough 4 games to start out with.
Yeah, they are tough. I have them going 2-2. I have them winning 2 straight and then losing 2 straight to start the year.
All right, now I got them winning 4 straight. Broncos at home, at the Giants, at the Vikings, and the Giants at home. I got them winning 4 straight as they go into the bye, which would make them 6-2 into the bye.
Yeah, I actually have them 5-3 at the bye because the only difference you and I have with those next slate of games, I have them losing at Minnesota. And not because I think the Vikings are a better team. I just think that the NFL schedule sometimes is unpredictable the way things get set up. And you're at Minnesota. I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be a little bit better than maybe people are giving him credit for. I think that the Vikings have solidified that defensive line, assuming these guys stay healthy. And you're getting them early in the year. But Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, they're going to help that team. I know Hargrave.
Listen, it could have happened that way. It could happen. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to be good enough to beat a Super Bowl team that early in his career. But
Also, though,
it could happen.
I think I told you this yesterday. The Vikings are coming off of a bye, and you don't seem to put a lot of weight into the bye, but that does help. Now, it helps the Eagles that they got a Thursday night the week before, so they're going to be an extended rest as well. But the Vikings are coming off a bye, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're coming off a bye after being overseas for 2 straight weeks. Is that right, Sean?
That would be correct.
So they're going to be back home. I think they're going to be energized.
Right.
I think they win that game.
That's fair. Into the bye, coming out of the bye. At the Packers is the first game. I don't care that Nick Sirianni's record is 8-1 out of a bye. I think this is a revenge situation in Green Bay. I think that makes the Eagles ripe for a loss there at the Packers. And then the Lions have been waiting for this opportunity for a long time at home. So I think they'll lose both at the Packers and against the Lions. And then it's win at the Cowboys, win against the Bears, win at the Chargers, win against the Raiders. Another 4 in a row wins schedule. And then a loss at the Commanders, a loss at the Bills, and they rebound with a win in the final game against the Commanders. That's 11-6. And I think that's extremely fair.
Yeah, and 11-6 guarantees you a playoff spot. And it gives you a chance to win the division.
And it probably does win the division. Maybe you have to do a tie break, but I like that the Eagles to win the division still, even though they're 11-6. And I'm not saying 15-2 here, folks. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have them 5-3 at the bye. Coming out of the bye, the trend continues with Sirianni. They win in Green Bay, 6-3. I have them, and I said this, and people were saying it's an excuse. It's not. It's reality. Short week coming back from Green Bay. You got to play the Lions at home on a Sunday night. I have them losing that game. So now I have them at 6-4. Winning in Dallas, 7-4. Winning at home against Chicago, 8-4. Winning in LA, 9-4. And then beating the Raiders, you're 10-4. But then I have them losing 2 straight. I think they lose that Saturday at Washington. I think they lose Week 17 at Buffalo. And they're going to have to win that Week 18 game. It could be the difference about the division. They go 11-6.
All right, there you go. And again, that little 2-game stretch with the Packers and Lions, they could win one of those games. If they do, that's 12. But I can't find any more than 12. And people, I dare you to find more than 12 wins on this the Eagles schedule. All right, 610-632-0975. The Phillies are against the Pirates this weekend, and Paul Skeens is probably going to pitch. I have a scenario that I want to test on Bill about Paul Skeens.
Does it involve Livy Dunn or no?
No, it doesn't involve Livy Dunn. It involves purely baseball.
I wonder if Livy Dunn will be in the house.
Oh, my God. Go to the game and find out. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies are back in action tonight after losing to the previous series to the Cardinals. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. Phillies host the Pirates this weekend. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight, and Andrew Haney for the Pirates. Zach Wheeler is scheduled to go tomorrow night, and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday, who is scheduled to face Pirates ace Paul Skeens Sunday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game is at 6:45. We all know the Flyers have found their guy. New head coach Rick Tocchet spoke to the media in the 10 o'clock hour. You'll be able to listen to that press conference on 975thefanatic.com in case you missed it. Andrew Painter pitched 5 innings, throwing 71 pitches for the Iron Pigs last night up in Syracuse. He allowed 5 hits and 2 runs and recording 3 strikeouts last night. This update is also brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Get a wireless plan that saves you money and an extra trip. Switch to Straight Talk at your local Walmart while you shop for those little oranges these kids love. It's real unlimited data with real convenience. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
26. The Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. 610-632-0975. Eagles schedule. You heard it. We went over it again. We both came up with 11 wins. Apparently that's a violation. But we got a man on the line, Felix in the Northeast, who wants to check us on it. Felix, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, Felix.
I haven't talked to you since you gave me Illinois for the bracket.
There you
so
go.
I'm disappointed in that. Pick,
I know. What are you
it
going to
is
do? What are you going to do?
So I'm also at 2-2 in the beginning. But there's no way the Rams are flying cross country on a 1 o'clock game and beating us. 0% chance.
Bill, what do you think of that?
I don't.
Flying across the country. It's not like they haven't done it before.
But it's 1 o'clock though. They typically play their games at 4:25 because of the
Yeah,
time
well,
difference.
maybe they leave L.A. early and get in a day early.
Mike, it's already in the Eagles' favor.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's going to be a really tough game for them. The Eagles will be favored in that game, but still, it's going to be a tough game. I got them winning the game. Bill doesn't.
Coming off a loss that I have to KC, I think that they'll smoke the Rams, but they'll fall back down to earth, beating or losing to
Tampa Bay.
the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's the same way I have it. Win, loss, win, loss. I got it. The Bills got
And
Rams.
then,
Tell Felix why. Well, hold on a second, Felix. Tell Felix why you think they'll lose to the Rams, Bill.
No, Felix makes a good point about the 1 o'clock thing. I just think that they're going to start the season 2-0, and I don't expect them to go 3 straight wins to open up the year this year. And I think the Rams have a little bit of revenge on their mind. And I do think, especially because you're getting them early in the season, Devontae Adams is going to be a big addition for that Rams team early. Now, he may start to struggle down the stretch because he's got a little older, but to start the year, I just think Stafford and Devontae are going to have a big game.
And Felix, the other thing Bill's saying is they beat the Chiefs, so they come back down and lose to the Rams. That's the way he's looking at it.
I understand that, but again, you think the Chiefs are going to take 2 losses in a row? Like, I mean, it's meant for Andy Reid for his revenge, the way I see it.
Yeah, I looked at it the same way.
And then
I think the Chiefs may miss the playoffs this year. Is that a crazy hot take right there?
Wow, it is crazy hot.
I think they're going to struggle this year, the Chiefs.
They might, but I don't see them not winning that division. I mean, they've got the Raiders. I mean, Chargers. I mean, I don't see them not winning that division.
Yeah, I got you. I agree.
Moving into the next game that concerns me is the Vikings. But it's J.J. McCarthy's 8th game as a pro or 7th game as a pro. There's no way I'm putting that much on. And he's coming off of, they had to give him the ACL.
Yeah, I think it's going to take him a while.
I don't see that. There's no way.
All right, so what do you got, Felix? So what's your number?
So I got him at 12-5.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
Washington.
At Packers Lions, what do you got in that stretch?
So this is what I was hoping to ask you guys. I couldn't really look at it because I was on the phone. Who do the Packers have before they play the Eagles?
Who do the Packers have before they play the Eagles?
They got a home game against the Carolina Panthers. So they're back-to-back home games for them.
A little bit. They get buttered up, and then the Eagles come in and handle it. Because
you wanted that game to be a tougher game. You wanted that Packer game to be a tougher game than the one before, didn't you?
Who, me?
Yes. That's why you asked the question. They're playing a crap team the week before.
Well, that's the point, and they're coming off of a bye. But then they will lose to the Lions, and then. But what really, boggles my mind a little bit is we're talking about 11 and 12 wins for the Eagles, where Vegas has the Commanders at 9.5.
I know. That's the thing that's holding me back.
We should already win the division.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's the only thing that causes me to, squint a little. That number 9.5 for the Commanders. They're a coming team. I would say that's a double-digit win team next year, but maybe not.
Yeah, the 9.5 is interesting, but at the same time, like I've looked at some of the other odds. Commanders are -132 to make the playoffs. So 9 wins doesn't necessarily get you in the NFC.
Yeah.
I would take the over. If I'm betting the Commanders 9.5, I'm taking the over. I think they win 10 or 11 games.
See, that's a fishy line. It almost makes me want to go under.
Yeah, you like reading the lines.
Yeah, I do. That's fishy. That's so easy to go over that it has to go under.
Well, they won 12 last year. And a lot of people would say they overperformed. I just think you look at this Washington Commanders team, can you really make the argument that they're not better this year than they were last year? They make the trade for Laramie Tunsil. They bring in Deebo Samuel. They get guard Nate Herbig. They brought in wide receiver Michael Gallup. Good draft pick in Josh Cornery. They got defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw. Like, they've improved their team, and they're still building with older players. I understand that, but they did that last year too. They're trying to take advantage of having Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. It's a smart way to try to build your team around a rookie contract quarterback. Because once they have to pay Jaden Daniels, it limits your ability to sign players at other positions. I don't know, man. I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I think the Eagles beat them in the playoffs if they have to face up. I just think the schedule may play out where the Commanders win more games in the regular season.
Yeah, okay.
But that makes us Washington pregame show, according to John Kincade.
Yeah. Well, listen, sometimes you fish for content when you don't have any. Anyway.
I like that John was coming at us.
610-632-0975. All right, let me get to this Pittsburgh thing. They play Paul Skeens pitches against the Phillies on Sunday.
Correct. And Sanchez is on the mound for the Phillies.
Here's the thing about me. I admire achievement. I really do. I have great respect for achievement. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. When I was at the World Series game, World Series game, where the Phillies got no hit.
Ooh, against Houston.
Now, it got to the late innings, and I wasn't rooting for it, but I didn't mind that the Phillies got no hit in that game. Because I think it's such an incredible achievement, and I look at it like I was there to witness that achievement. Now, let me ask you this question.
But hold on. If Houston had thrown a no-hitter and it was one pitcher, maybe I would never root for it in a World Series.
It didn't matter
but
to
it
me.
was they did 4 different pitchers did
it. It still didn't matter to me because in a World Series game, that doesn't happen, whether they took 4 pitchers or whatever. So, but let me just bring it to Paul Skeens. That guy is phenomenal. I love to watch that guy pitch. I love to watch Zach Wheeler pitch. I love to watch Roy Halladay pitch. These are guys that keep me in my seat when I watch them throw a baseball.
Yeah.
Now, if it gets to the 7th inning and he's got a no-hitter against the Phillies, would you mind that he threw a no-hitter?
Yes.
It would.
Because as much as I agree with you about how good Paul Skeens is and how much I do enjoy watching him pitch, and as much as I respect his ability to attract women, I don't need to see him no hit or throw a perfect game against the Philadelphia Phillies for me to respect how good he is. I don't want to see him do that to us.
Why?
Do that to another
What's
team.
the difference? It's one game in a 162-game schedule. It's not going to make or break the Phillies at all and what they're trying to do this season. But you will have witnessed history.
Yeah, yes and
history.
No.
You know how hard it is to throw a no-hitter, especially in this day and age with the pitch count?
Still don't want it against the Phils. I don't want it.
Why? I don't understand. Like, what kind of it was that a taint for you? It's a rewarding achievement. The guy, especially against the Phillies, if the guy can no-hit that lineup, wouldn't you want to say, man, you know what? I'd tip my cap to that guy.
All right. Here. Let's put a qualifier.
Go ahead.
Are the Phils getting smoked? Or are we talking about a 1-0 game?
It's 4-0.
I can't go. Like if it's like
5-0.
Oh, I don't know. 5's tough.
5-0.
Maybe 6 or 7-0. 6 or 7-0. Maybe I'm like, all right, just throw the perfect
game. I get
game.
it. 1-0 game. You still think they can win the game.
Yes.
I get it. I get that. All right, you want to bunt to get on base to break up the no hitter. I got no problem with that at all. 'Cause a lot of people say you don't bunt to break up a no. A 1-0 game, you bunt to break up.
I'd love if it was Rojas. You would be so angry.
No, I wouldn't be angry.
10-0 game, Rojas.
It's a 1-0 game. A bunt for a hit is a hit. For mine, I don't look at it like that's cheesy to bunt for a hit. You're still in the game.
Yeah, but if it's
even if it's 2-0, you're getting a guy on base for your next guy.
But if the game's out of hand, I don't know. I just can't. I know what you're saying, and I am going to enjoy watching Paul Skeens pitch, but I don't want to see the Phils get no hit.
What's the difference? Who cares? I mean, like it's so like I look at achievement and I go, my God, for you throw a no hitter in Major League Baseball, that's amazing, and I witnessed it. Like I would root for a guy to throw a no hitter.
All right, Zach Wheeler's on the mound for the Phillies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to see him give up 4 home runs to the same batter? Because that's historic to hit 4 home runs in a game.
Well, that's different.
Why?
It's just, that's,
What if Ohtani steps up to the plate? Ohtani's one of the greatest baseball players I've ever seen. You're not going to want to see him hit 4
If he gives up 3 home runs in a row, he's probably out of the game anyway. They're not going to get a chance to get 4 home runs. This is a complete – no-hitters are rare. They're just rare.
So we thought that you were Mikey Metz. Looks like you're
Pittsburgh
Mikey
Pirates
Pirate now.
Have no chance to do anything. Like one achievement that they would have is this guy throws a no-hitter.
Did you see that new Pirate movie, by the way?
No.
It's rated R.
I don't even want to hit it. I don't even want to hit it.
What a horrendous dad joke. That is so bad. My God. Dude.
I thought it was good.
All right. There's nobody on earth that's going to agree with me on this, you know. But I have such a view of baseball and know how hard it is. To have a no-hitter, to have the guy throw a no-hitter is amazing to me. I was wowed by when Halladay did it.
Yeah, because he was on the Phillies.
But even in general, like I was wowed when Houston did it. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Philadelphia.
The Fanatic. The Preakness is this weekend. This is the last Preakness.
The last?
Well, it's the last Preakness at where's that track? What is that track?
In Baltimore?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been there too.
Pimlico.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, they're ripping it down, building a new track. So that's the last time.
Is the Preakness going to miss a couple years then?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think they're supposedly will get the track up within a year.
In a year?
Yeah, because it's not like you put a grandstand up and.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Who you got, Mike?
Journalist is running in this again, but so is that.
Who won the Derby?
No, that horse is not running. I'll give you a little handicap a little later.
All right, so there's no Triple Crown possibility.
No Triple Crown possibility, and they say it's hurting the sport because they have these races too soon, like 2 weeks, within 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Hold on, before you get back to your Phillies stuff, I got a question on this.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture from the press conference we ran, the Rick Tocchet introductory press conference. Now, you remember Rick Tocchet played here.
Did he?
And
yeah, I guess he did.
What was his number when he was here?
22.
Yeah. So they gave him a jersey to hold up. And it's got 25 on it because he's the 25th coach in franchise history. But since he played here and he wore number 22, shouldn't he hold up a jersey with his number on it?
Yeah, I would think.
Not 25? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, why 25?
Because it's the 25th coach in franchise history.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I don't want people. See, you're falling right into the trap. Should he be 22 when he played for the Flyers? Yeah. You're such an idiot.
Yeah. When he played here, he wore 22. He's in the Flyers Hall of Fame as a number 22. And now he's holding up a 25. It just seems wrong.
Oh, my God, you're an idiot. Please. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Brendan in Havertown. Brendan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Brendan?
Yes, Mike. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But I just want to tell you, I completely agree. Me and my friends have been talking about going to see teams on Sunday, and I would totally agree. If I saw him throw a no-hitter, I'm totally in with that. If the Phillies lose, like, horribly. I was at the Penn State. I'm currently a Penn State student. Before I was a student, I was at the Penn State-Illinois 9 overtime game. And, like, even walking out of that, I wasn't even angry because I saw the most overtimes ever in a college football game, and I still root every single time for – Like whenever I'm watching a game on TV, I still don't want them to break that record because at least if I was at that crappy game, at least I saw the record of.
Yeah, listen. At the point where you go, all right, this guy is like sensational. I want to see him get this. You know,
he's unbelievable.
And it's one game. It's like I wouldn't do it for a football game or anything, but one game in a 162 game schedule, you sit there, you take the heat. The guy no hits you. It's not the first team that is going to fall victim to a no hitter.
I think it's a violation, man. I think it's a violation.
Come on.
You can't root against your team actively.
Yeah, Brendan. See, Bill's primitive. What else you got?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's unbelievable. You got to watch Unbelievable Talent.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It's like, I have great reverence for greatness.
I understand.
Like, I want to see if Kobe Bryant has 79 points. I want to see him make that free throw to get 80.
I completely agree with you in wanting to watch great players and respecting great players, but I look at it the other way. I want to see Paul Skeens come in here, and I want to see this Phillies lineup hit him around.
Well, but that's different. You wish that before the game. I'm saying when the game is in a particular state where he needs 6 outs to get a no-hitter, and he's been dazzling, and you're at the game. You actually want them to break up the no-hitter?
All right, so you're qualifying now. 8th inning.
I gave you the whole qualifying thing. I don't. At the start, I'm not rooting for him to throw a no-hitter. Once he has the no-hitter in progress.
All right, 8th inning, 5-0 Pirates. There's a no-hitter going.
Yes.
I think I'm still rooting for the Phils. Maybe in the 9th in a 5-0
What satisfaction would you get out of them breaking up the no-hitter if they're not going to win the game anyway?
We are assuming they're not going to win.
Well, they're not going to win 5-0. They're not going to win the game.
I still think it's a violation, man. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't. Look,
you have no respect for greatness.
I do have respect for greatness.
You don't have respect for greatness. You don't have respect for greatness and achievement.
I have respect for greatness. I just don't want to see it against Philadelphia
Why?
teams.
Was it that embarrassing that you would get no hit? How many teams have gotten no hit?
Not often.
A lot of teams have gotten no hit.
You just said
it's not a blight on their whole organization.
It's just not something I'm going to actively root for.
6 outs.
I'm not going to root for that.
6 outs. All right, suppose he needs 5 outs. Suppose he needs 4 outs, Bill. He's got 2 outs in the 8th inning.
All right, play this through. Is it really that great to be able to say 5 years later, I was at the game the Phillies got no hit?
Suppose it's a perfect game, Bill.
Oh, now you're raising the stakes a little bit. Perfect game, a little different.
Oh, my
Still
God.
not rooting for it. I'm still not rooting for it.
We're going to get back to the text board in a little bit. Here's the number, 610-632-0975. We got the news at noon. Sean, you doing news at noon today?
I got it ready.
How about Sean Rodmo doing the news at noon today?
We only got Sean for another hour.
We'll see if he's if he's better than Ray. Mano a mano today.
That's
right. Sean till 1, and then Savannah's coming in early.
She is. She's doing a little double duty today. She's going to do the afternoon
Sounds
show, too.
good. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies are back in action tonight after losing the previous series to the Cardinals. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Phillies host the Pirates this weekend. Ranger Suarez gets a start for the Phils tonight, and Andrew Haney for the Pirates. Zach Wheeler is scheduled to go tomorrow night, and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday, who is scheduled to face the Pirates ace Paul Skeens Sunday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game is at 6:45. We all know the Flyers have found their guy, Rick Tocchet, as their next head coach. He spoke to the media in the 10 o'clock hour. In case you missed the press conference, you can listen to that on 97.5thefanatic.com. Andrew Painter pitched 5 innings last night for the Iron Pigs, throwing 71 pitches. He allowed 5 hits and 2 runs on 3 strikeouts as well last night. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Get matched and sleep at night during Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale. Take 120 nights to love your new bed or your money back. Restrictions apply. I'm Sean Rodman on your home for the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Before the news at noon, he plays Kendrick Lamar, Ray's favorite artist of all time?
I think he is.
And he hits him with a be humble, sit down?
I think he is actually trying to do that.
Oh, my goodness, Sean.
Well,
I won't confirm nor deny.
Sean with a little taunt.
Wow. I hope
All
Ray's listening.
Yeah, Ray. I don't think Ray's listening. He's probably in the.
Probably not.
He's probably watching his brother throw the tassel.
I hope it's inside. It's a mess out there.
Is it raining out there?
Oh, my. Rain? It's like a torrential downpour going on out there.
All right, let's get to the phones. Jamie in D.C. checking in. What's up, Jamie? How you doing today?
Fellas, good week of sports talk. I love checking in with you guys. Great topics. It's just good to hear your voices. Does he have one of Ray's ex-girlfriends dancing when they play that song? Because then I would be curious.
You're suggesting Ray has a lot of exes? We don't know. Ray keeps it pretty private, man.
Amen. Hey, here's my point. So, Mike, I'm with Bill. I'm never going to be on the wrong side of history if I can help it, especially as a fan. So 2 points. First point is, when you watched that Game 4, after Game 3 of the World Series, when the Phillies came to town, we had already split one in Houston, we were rocking and rolling, and you saw the deflation of that. You were okay with it being 5 pitchers and a no-hitter against your team in
Yeah, I actually was. When it got deep into the game, I go, this is pretty amazing. They're going to a World Series no-hitter. World Series no-hitter has been done, one other time? I'm going, yeah, I want to see it. I'm there for that.
In the World Series violation.
Well, as a Game 4 ticket holder, I was a little bummed. But here's my other thing. Since history is subjective, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We talked going into those Super Bowls that, if the Chiefs win 3, they'll be the first team to three-peat. Are you saying if they are dominating us in the fourth quarter, you're like, well, at least I get to watch my team lose 2 or 3 against the Chiefs to be Super Bowl champions? And that's history?
No, that's not a history. That's just a win. To me, that's not as much history as a no-hitter. A no-hitter to me is that's a team thing that you're talking about. A no-hitter is an individual thing where a guy goes out and dazzles an entire lineup and gets 27 outs without a hit. That to me is amazing.
Yeah, I can remember Kevin Millwood did one at the vet. My dad and I were at the game. It was great. It was great to experience the history. So I'm not arguing.
And I'm talking about an opponent. You're like, I like achievement. And to me, I tip my cap. Like, you know what? You beat my ass on this particular day, and you no-hit him. I tip my cap to you.
How about if you're playing golf because you're a golfer and you're going against a guy and he breaks 65? Are you happy for him?
That's different. That's not an all-time record. You're putting it on different plateaus here. A plateau where in Major League Baseball you throw a no-hitter is a significant achievement. A guy who's going to shoot 65 against me, that's not significant. That's just that he had a good day.
Well, I had to bring in the personal feeling of it and stuff. So, guys,
I'll tell you this. If a guy was going to shoot 57, I'd root for him to get 57. You're damn right I would.
I hope he doesn't have a pencil wedge.
Well,
you guys have a great day.
All right, man. You got it. All right. Not many people are going to agree with this whole thing. He wanted to talk horse racing.
He did put that in there.
Because he's in D.C., so the Preakness is close to him. I'm looking at the Preakness post positions here. Let's see. I'm going to go. I like journalism, and he's the favorite. So the only way you can make money is an exacta. So I like this horse called River Thames.
What's the odds on him?
9-2.
9-2.
So in an upset, I'm going to go River Thames, and I'm going to hook him on with Heart of Honor in the 4th position. River Thames running out of the 6th position, and journalism gets beat. Again.
Are you putting him to place?
Journalism will finish 3rd.
Okay.
River Thames, Heart of Honor, journalism is my trifecta. Box it. Box that trifecta.
All right, maybe I will. I still, though, I can't get past this thing real quick.
Hold on. We got to take it.
I know what we got.
All right. You can't get past what?
The Astros no-hitter thing.
Yeah, the Astros no-hitter.
All right. At what point in a World Series game for your Philadelphia Phillies, in a series that was 2-1,
Yeah.
Did you start rooting for the no-hitter to be accomplished?
I didn't root for it, but I was saying, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad thing.
At what point?
What was the score?
It was 5-0 after the 5th.
In the 7th inning.
Oh, massive violation. In a World Series
game in the 7th inning, maybe it was getting through the 7th. Once they got through the 7th, that's when I did it.
You can't do that in a World
See,
Series.
when I did it, because they weren't going to come back against that team. It was 5-0 at the time. In the top of the 8th inning, I'm saying, you know what? Now I want to see this.
I could maybe get on board with a regular season game, even though I'm not there. No way in a World Series.
All right, it wasn't the Game 7, by the way.
No, it was Game 4.
Okay, so that gives you a little more leeway.
It was a momentum swinger.
Well, whatever it was, they did it to you. Like they had to do it to you in your home ballpark. Now, to me, if you don't think that's achievement, I don't know what you think is achievement.
Honestly, I'm disgusted right now.
610-632-0975. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, and we broadcast live every day from the Comcast Business Studios. And you know what time it is? It's lunchtime. And that means it's time for the News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, well, I wanted to start us off in the NFL realm with the Eagles. And, well, it's Dallas week already, a little bit early for this year. And, well, with that announcement of the Eagles-Cowboys in the season opener, Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb don't believe Quinyon Mitchell can lock down Lamb.
And I'm sorry, that Quintamino Bay don't last over here, man. That shit dead. What is that? That's what they call Quinyon Mitchell. What?
You guys are right here.
They said Guantanamo Bay. That's where they said you headed. Wow. I said, they crazy. Y'all ever seen Prison Break?
Stop the cap.
Ever seen Prison Break?
My captain came.
They said, now they drag. I think Eagles fans are here.
I don't care. Who's in
They
here?
talking about you going to Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay.
All right, so I ain't never been locked down on any island.
What do you think of that, Bill? If you take a bite of Kind Bar.
I got it, yeah. I got my Kind Bar. I will say this. The only time that CeeDee Lamb has been on the field with Guantanamo Bay, which we say Quinyanamo, 6 catches for 21 yards. So until you can actually perform, I don't think you should be talking smack. But I like it. Talk smack. Give the Eagles some bulletin board material.
I believe in one of those games against Quinyon, too, just up against each other, is one reception for about 5 yards, too.
Yeah, talk that trash. Now, what I thought you were going to play is I saw a clip circulating where CeeDee Lamb was asked, who has a more passionate fan base? The Eagles or the Cowboys?
I did see that, too.
And you know what CeeDee Lamb's answer was?
What's that?
The Eagles have a more passionate fan base than the Cowboys fans. So, mad at him for this one, but I do agree with him. Eagles fan base a lot more passionate, especially since all the 90s Cowboys fans are starting to transition to Chiefs fans, as we saw that tattoo cover-up that's also circulating.
Yeah, all right. Next
up, Ryan Clark was on First Take, and the former Steeler yesterday said he believes Mike Tomlin could have the same success as Andy Reid.
I believe that Mike Tomlin is unfireable. I believe if Mike Tomlin steps away from being the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, that should be his decision. And I've said time and time again, I do believe that should be the decision he makes. I believe Mike Tomlin should coach in another organization. Mike Tomlin should be a fresh voice somewhere else, because I believe as great as a coach he is, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, I believe his voice has run stale there. I believe he's allowed that team to reach the highest of heights they're going to reach unless they can get a top tier quarterback. So
I'm trying to decipher what you're saying.
He needs to go have his Andy Reid Kansas City run.
Ryan Clark says a lot of provocative stuff. I'm not so sure I don't disagree with him.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, you look at what Mike Tomlin's done. I know it's amazing. He hasn't had a losing record ever. But this team has become stagnant. The last time they won a playoff game, you got to go all the way back to 2016. Like, maybe this is the Andy Reid type of thing where he leaves Philadelphia, goes somewhere else, and has success.
But the Steelers are a team that doesn't fire anybody. He would have to make that decision. They don't fire head coaches, man. They just don't.
No, they do not. Would they go from before Coward?
Coach Cower.
Yeah.
Coach Cower.
They still call
Coach Cower.
He never coached again. I'm surprised by that.
He's got an easy lark job now. Come on. He doesn't want that hassle. All right, what's next?
Next up, a Sixers potential draft target, Ace Bailey, showing his confidence at the NBA Combine. Is that a good thing or a little concerning that he could take some bad shots?
Where does that confidence come from?
Workouts. Workouts. I work the shots a lot. I mean, the shots I work on in the workouts are the shots I do in the game. So what might be a bad shot to you, you're going to work on it. I work on it. So that's how I look at it.
How did you develop that routine?
I mean, workout consistently. I mean, same thing. 2 people guard me in the workout, 3 people guard me in the workout, creating space to get my shot off.
Well, he talks a good game. Now he's going into a league where he's not going to get that many open shots, but he does. It was refreshing that he patterns his game after Paul George. I hope he patterned that game about 10 years ago, Paul George.
Or even 2 years ago wasn't bad. It was just when he got here. 2 years ago, he had a career year in a lot of respects, Paul George. Contract year.
Yeah. The more I'm seeing so much hype on VJ Edgecombe because he can jump out of the building. He's dynamic. He's like one of those dynamic players. If you're going to pull the trigger on one of those two players, Bill, who would you favor right now?
I would go Ace Bailey.
You would go Ace Bailey. Why?
Yeah. I just think he's going to have a lot more potential. I know VJ Edgecombe has a lot of upside, but I like Ace Bailey. More of a project, I agree, but I think he's got more upside than a VJ Edgecombe would.
You do, huh?
But
VJ Edgecombe has Ja Morant upside.
And Ace Bailey has been compared to Michael Porter Jr. a little bit. That's what I've seen as the
Yeah,
comp.
who's the more dynamic player?
I would say Morant. I would go with Morant. I don't know, man. Either one of those guys, though. If you pick Ace Bailey or you pick VJ Edgecombe, they're not. I don't think they're helping you this season.
No, neither of them are going to help you this season.
And that's why I told you earlier, according to Sam Vecini of The Athletic, it's reported that the Sixers will listen to trade offers for that 3rd overall pick.
Well, they should. They should listen to trade offers. They can't shut anybody down. It's not like they're getting Cooper Flagg.
Well, that's the question.
They're getting Lou Alcindor.
Like, if Dallas said, hey, we'll listen to trade offers, they're going to get a ton of calls. Do you think there's a lot of teams who are just that infatuated with Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe or saying, we'll give you a lot to move up to 3?
Edgecombe, maybe. Because he's that dynamic athlete that prospers in this league now.
It's going to be interesting, man. And in doing so, I would think if you're going to trade that 3rd overall pick, one of these big contracts has to go with it, right? Like, if you trade that, you're doing it for a star, and you're probably going to have to match up salaries, so maybe you can get out from under PG-13 or PG-8.
Well, that's what we would have to do. That's why I'm saying that pick I would trade in a second if I get rid of either Embiid or Paul George.
Oh, man, you're so out on Embiid. I get it.
It's over. I can't. There's nothing that can convince me that he's going to regenerate some kind of miracle that he becomes the player that he was.
So number 3 and Joel to the Bucks for Giannis.
In a heartbeat. In a flash, Bill. 610-632-0975 is how you get into the show. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
We want to hear from you. So text
I had it never gets old, a Hershey's Kiss.
You like the ones with almonds in it too, or no?
No, the little Hershey Kisses.
Now, you put it in your mouth and you bite it right away, or do you let it kind of melt? I like to let it kind of melt.
I bite it. You're such a weirdo, man. Honest to God. Let's get to the text board. Sean Rodman is our producer today. Ray's out today. Sean, what do we have on the? We have text on the no-hitter. We have text on Tockett. We have text on the Eagles schedule. Go ahead.
All right, let's go to the no-hitter scenario. Tristan in South Jersey checking in says, if Skeens or any pitcher pitched a no-hitter against the Phillies, I wouldn't like it unless Phillies somehow win. But I'd still give the pitcher his props for doing something historic.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't like it. Like it's like
you're not rooting for it.
No, you're not. But
you are. You're rooting.
I'm rooting for it when you need like 4 outs, 5 outs left, and at that point it's like, dude, you beat us. So now I'd like to see you get this personal achievement. To me, I just think it's so fascinating to throw a no-hitter in baseball because it's so difficult, especially in this day and age, that, I wouldn't mind it was against my team. It's history.
All right, you gave me the hypothetical. I'll give you one then.
Uh-huh.
8th inning, 5-0 game.
Mm-hmm.
Skeens is pitching a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
The Phils make an unbelievable comeback, and they win the game 6-5. Are you disappointed that you didn't see the perfect game?
No, because he didn't get it. He had a chance to get it at the point where I'm going, I'd like to see him get it. If he doesn't get it, then all bets are off. If he gives up a hit, he has to give up a hit before they get to the point where they win the game.
Yeah, so if you're not going to be disappointed, then you shouldn't be actively rooting.
Why would I be disappointed? It's not a disappointment thing. It's you're watching achievement right in front of your eyes. If he doesn't close the deal, then you got nothing. My hoping that he gets the no-hitter isn't going to make him get the no-hitter. He still has to get it.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You're just playing devil's
advocate. I feel dirty in here.
What else we got, Sean?
All right, next up we have a texter saying claiming that he says, Mike Miss sounds delusional. I never want to see no-hitter against the Phillies. That's being a fan. Screw that guy's no-hitter.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's juvenile. All right? It's juvenile. It's 5-0. You're there. You're witnessing history. You don't want to witness history? Phenomenal to you. What else?
Another text on the delusional part, on the Phillies part says, you're right, Bill. Can't root against my Phils.
You're not rooting against your Phils. The game's is technically almost over. It's 5-0.
No, you're wrong. This is maybe your worst take of our 200 shows.
Worst take at all. It's like I respect achievement, and no matter who it is, if it's an opponent who achieves to that kind of a level, I'm in. Salute, I go to him.
Yeah, but that caller, I think it was the caller who said the Chiefs were about to make history if they won their 3rd straight Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's different history. That's like that's a team history. I'm talking about an individual achievement here. What else you got?
All right, next up says, this is no name on this texter, total violation to root for a no-hitter against your team. They're not that rare. I was at Cohn's perfect game against Montreal in 99, and I was yelling bunt the entire top of the 9th.
Yeah, well, that makes you an idiot. All right? That makes you an idiot if you're yelling bunt. All right? Sit there and just watch the game transpire. If they get a hit, they get a hit. You shouldn't bunt to break up a no-hitter. You should bunt if the game is still in question.
See, now, as much as I'm anti-Mike on his opinion here, I agree with him with the bunting thing, number one. And number two, that texter, it's funny because although I agree you shouldn't be rooting for it, he still remembers the exact game he was at in 1999.
Exactly.
Because of it.
Because he witnessed achievement.
Right? We're going 26 years ago.
Right.
I couldn't tell you a game I was at 26 years ago, probably with the amount of detail that he could tell you the perfect game he saw.
In the overall scope of things, it doesn't hurt your team that much because the guy threw a no-hitter against you.
You still can't.
It's 162 games, for crying out loud. It's a loss, just like any other loss would be.
All right, so what do you think happens? Citizens Bank Park, 8th inning, 5-0 game. Skeens is throwing a perfect game. If someone gets a hit, do you think they cheer?
Of course they cheer.
Yeah, so you're in the minority here.
Well, okay, I'm in the minority because in that I respect achievement. So I'll go to the wall with that. I respect achievement. Nobody else does. Phenomenal to you.
Your sister.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. We got, let's see.
I think you got Bryant.
Bryant in Yardley. Bryant, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Bryant?
What's going on, guys?
How are you? Good, buddy.
I'm doing great. I just wanted to chime in here, Mike, on the Paul Skeens take here. I don't understand if you're over the age of 10 or 11, how you could not be psyched about seeing a dude throw a no-hitter. I'll give you an example. Like, go back to Steph Curry breaking the three-point record against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. When he hit that shot, that whole arena was standing up, like excited to see that, a part of history. Or on a smaller scale.
Yeah, it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah, I don't know how if you're a grown-up you can.
But the no-hitter is even more achievement because it's a live action moment at that particular time. You know, it's like boom, like Steph Curry's is a cumulative record. This is live action. Boom, the guy's going to do it right in front of your eyes.
For sure, yeah. I don't know. I'm all about it. It'd be cool to see. I'm down.
See, you're a well-rounded, mature man. That's why, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or if it's.
Well, yeah, it's like you're not. You've grown up to the point where you go, you know what? I can respect achievement.
Exactly.
I just think there's a difference between respect and rooting for it. Like that's my point. I would respect if the game's over.
What is your definition of rooting for it? Like I'm standing up with a Houston pennant?
That's what it sounds like.
No, it's not. I'm just sitting in my seat going, this is kind of cool that they're going to no-hit the Phillies. It's kind of cool. I got to be honest with you.
No, see, that's the violation. You're rooting for it.
I'm not rooting for it. I'm not going, if they're every out.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's a 2-1 series.
In my head, I'm going, I wouldn't mind to see this could be completed. That's it. That's what I did.
In the World Series.
In the World Series. They were already out in that game. They weren't going to win that game. They were dead on their feet the whole game. They're getting no hit. They're not going to come back and win that game.
Mikey Mets, Mikey Knicks.
See what he does, Brian?
Mikey Pirate.
He tries to turn the whole fan base against me, Brian.
Crazy. Yeah. I get it, though. I'm with you, Mike.
All right, man. Thank you, man. You're a smart man. 610-632-0975.
Maybe John Kincade was right about you.
That's the reason why I brought this up, because that dude started talking about something similar to this. 610-632-0975. We got our text. We got Rick Tocchet. He was introduced today as the Flyers coach. Everybody happy about that? Flyer fans haven't really sounded off that much on it, Bill. You notice that?
They have not. I wonder if the Flyers have lost too many fans, man, with the way things have been.
The Flyers are just like mediocre on this thing. Like, are they in mediocrity over this?
Yeah, I think this was kind of like a vanilla hire.
Vanilla hire for Flyer fans. That's interesting because he's an ex-Flyer. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies are back in action tonight after losing the previous series to the Cardinals. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. Phillies host the Pirates this weekend. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phils tonight, and Andrew Heaney for the Pirates. Zach Wheeler is scheduled to go tomorrow night, and Christopher Sanchez on Sunday, who is scheduled to face the Pirates ace Paul Skeens on Sunday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game is at 6:45. We all know Flyers have found their guy. New head coach Rick Tocchet spoke to the media earlier in his introductory press conference in the 10 o'clock hour. In case you missed it, you can listen to that on 97.5thefanatic.com. Andrew Painter pitched 5 innings, throwing 71 pitches yesterday for the Iron Pigs. He allowed 5 hits and 2 runs and recorded 3 strikeouts last night up in Syracuse. This update is brought to you by Discover. Discover wants everyone to feel special. That's why they double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard. I'm Sean Rodman on your home for the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
streets back. All right. Boy Band Friday.
610-632-0975. Wow. We got a flood warning out there. I was going to go hit golf balls with that.
It's wild, dude.
Doesn't look like it's happening. But there's other news going on. We got a battle going on between Bruce Springsteen and Donald Trump.
I've been seeing that on social.
Land of Hope and Dreams tour. He's in Manchester, England. And on Wednesday, had a forceful denunciation of Trump, accusing him and his administration of trampling on civil rights and workers, abandoning allies, and siding with dictators. He said, the mighty E Street Band is here tonight to call upon the righteous power of art, of music, of rock and roll in dangerous times. In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. So, of course, Trump fired back. This dried-out prune of a rocker, in parentheses, his skin is all atrophied, ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back into the country. That's just standard fare, and then we'll see how it goes for him.
I got a bigger question here for you. What? So, you don't hide any bones about where you lean politically, but I have a question about...
I hide where I lean politically. Nobody knows. I just dislike one particular person.
Yeah, but my question is on a
Nothing
bigger
to do with political.
on a bigger scale. Whether you agree or not with the position that a musician is making, do you think in the middle of a concert where people come to listen to music, do you agree when they do that? Because he's not the first one to do it.
Is this a pro-Trump thing for you?
No, not at all.
Oh, I think it is.
No, I've seen it done the other way,
maybe it's
too.
a pro-Trump thing.
It goes both ways.
Uh-huh.
No, I've told you before.
You've revealed yourself now.
No, I'm asking you a bigger question. Do you think when people come...
Yeah, well, it's just like it's like anything else. It's like at a political rally. If Trump's having a political rally, all his supporters are going to be out there. If people are coming to see Springsteen, all his supporters are in the audience.
Well, I saw the video.
It's a safe play.
I saw the video, and it didn't sound like there was a lot of cheering when he was doing this.
Well, they were wrapped in attention to him. That's why.
Yeah, maybe they were just letting him talk.
They're wrapped in attention.
But
listen, Bruce Springsteen, you got to take on the boss, man.
You should not.
You don't call him a prune of a rocker.
You should not.
His skin is all atrophied.
No, but please.
You don't pay for that.
I see people in the chat that I'm making my stance clear. I have never given my position on anything.
Yeah, I think you opened a little can.
No,
I think you opened the can.
It goes both. I've seen it both ways, man. I've seen people pro-Trump, anti-Trump stop
this
things.
dried-out prune of a rocker. His skin is all atrophied. Ought to keep his mouth shut in capital letters.
Yeah, I saw this. I didn't know he snapped. I didn't know he snapped back.
United States, his little squabbles. Oh my God! 610-632-0975. Let's get back to the phone calls. We got Mark in Clementon. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Marky?
Hey, gentlemen. So I'm in the middle of a monsoon right now, so I'm gonna pull over here. It's crazy out. I don't know how a guy who looks like a Cheeto can compliment somebody on their skin, but we can save that conversation.
Well,
for
hey,
another
listen,
day.
this is between them. I got nothing to do with it. The prune of a rocker took a shot at the president.
Exactly. Hey, I'm not the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan at all. Actually, I don't like him at all, but I do agree with some of the comments he made during that concert.
Well, that's his own mindset, his own comments, and his own beliefs. But he was called a prune. I don't know. I don't know how you can come back from being called a prune.
I know. He can call back with a call him a Cheeto, though. That's one way to look at it. But anyway, the whole Paul Skeens thing and the no-hitter, listen, I'm with you, Mike. I do understand Bill's side of it, but seeing history and a pitcher at the caliber of Paul Skeens' level and witnessing greatness like that, that's if you're rooting against the Bills, but you're rooting for greatness. So I don't disagree with that. I would be in your boat. Like, if it's the 8th inning, 6 outs need to close out a game.
I just have tremendous respect for greatness. I really do. I go, that's an unbelievable achievement to be a pitcher to throw a no-hitter. It's a shame. I actually, when people get broken up in no-hitter, I feel bad for those guys.
It's incredibly impossible to do. It's one man trying to get 27 outs. And it's basically by himself. Obviously, he has a team behind him, but that's a tremendous individual accomplishment. And if you have respect for the game of baseball, just in general, not just being a Phillies fan, then you would want to see that. Granted, it stinks against your team that's happening to, but it's Paul Skeens, for one, probably a top 5 pitcher in the league right now, if not the number 1 pitcher. Now, if it was like some jabroni pitcher that's doing that, I'm rooting for them to break off the no-hitter. I don't care what they have to do. Well, not fun. And we're not.
Hey, who is that? Who is that guy that threw the no-hitter 126 pitches? Lorenzen.
Lorenzen.
Like if Lorenzen, I'm rooting against Lorenzen from getting a no-hitter.
See, I think this defeats both of your points, though. Like, what if a no-hitter is historic or a perfect game is historic? Why should it matter who throws it? Like, why would you only root for it from a good pitcher?
I'm saying that with tongue in cheek.
No,
basically.
Mark said it though. Mark said he would be rooting the opposite.
Well, here's the way I look at it. Mark, let's look at it this way. Throwing a no-hitter in baseball or a perfect game is the quintessential baseball achievement. And it might be the quintessential sports achievement. You come up with anything close in any other sport. Even a hole-in-one has been done many, 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 many times. The quintessential athletic achievement is throwing a no-hitter in baseball. So you're going to sit there and root against it? Come on.
I mean, I guess depending on for me, it's the pitcher, I guess, too. Paul Skeens is a great pitcher, and, I think recognizing his greatness at such a young age, early in his career, and witnessing something potential like that is an awesome thing for baseball. Just as a fan in general, I'm a diehard Phillies fan. I would hate it. Hey, if they were losing the series, if they were down 0-2, and that's Game 3, just for them to win the game, maybe a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, see, I hear you. I would not hate it. I would not. I'm telling you, I would not hate it, unless it was a winnable game. And then I would go, okay, let's see if we can break this up and score a couple runs to win the game. But if it's 5-0, the guy's coasting along. I'm going, dude, get it, knock yourself out, get the damn no hitter. Give me something that's akin to throwing a no-hitter. Give me a sports achievement that is on the same level as you throwing a no-hitter, Bill.
It's a good question.
You can't get one.
How many cycles have there been?
Well, that's that.
I got the numbers. So how many no-hitters have there been in Major League Baseball?
Cycles are rare. I get it, but still, that's not exciting.
It's almost identical.
It's not exciting. It's like a collection of at-bats. So not that exciting.
I think there's been 326.
I wouldn't root for a guy to get the cycle. I couldn't care less about that. But throwing a no-hitter.
Well, I'm looking. I think there's been 326 no-hitters in Major League Baseball history.
Okay. How many perfect games?
And there's been 349 cycles.
All right.
So it's almost identical. How many perfect games? Obviously a lot less. Perfect games in Major League Baseball history, only 24.
All right.
So then it would be
think about that for a second. You wouldn't root for Paul Skeens to throw a perfect game against the Phillies if he's got a perfect game going into the 8th inning? Seriously. Well, you're a heathen if you wouldn't root for that.
I don't think I'd root for it.
Jesus.
I'm being honest here.
What is wrong with you?
I don't think I'd be rooting
24 in history. You're there at the game, witnessing history.
If he did it, I'd respect it. I'd remember it. But I couldn't actively root for it. Like, deep down, I couldn't be like,
if it's
struck him out.
5-0, you wouldn't root for 6 more outs so the guy can get a perfect game?
So Schwarber's up at the plate, and I'm rooting for a strikeout. No, I'm not doing
You're
that.
not rooting for a strikeout. You're just rooting for that guy. He gets him out.
Can't do it.
And he doesn't walk him.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
You're just playing devil's advocate.
I'm not. I can't do it. I think a majority of people...
You're one of those weasels that plays devil's advocate.
No, I think a majority of people would agree with me on this.
I don't think so.
I respect... See, you keep throwing out respecting greatness. I respect greatness. It doesn't mean that I want it to happen against the team that I root for.
What is the big thing that it happens against your team? Like, what is that? Does that put a permanent blotch on your face for the rest of your life? Like, what does it do? It's one game. Who cares? The guy got a perfect game. It just so happened to be against the Phillies. Was that's such a denigration for you?
Yeah, can't do it. I can't do it. I'm never going to actively root against Philadelphia teams.
You're not actively rooting against the Philadelphia team. You're rooting for a historical achievement. It's different. 610-632-0975. Why do I do this every day with you? Why?
Because you love me.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
Find the Fanatics is how you get in. 610-622-0975. We got a changeover here. Producers.
Yeah,
Sean Rodman
went to the bullpen.
Went to the bullpen, got the lefty. Savannah's taking over for Sean Rodman, who had to catch a flight. And is trying to get to the airport in this downpour.
What's up, Sil?
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Savannah.
Pleasure to be here.
By the way, the 12 o'clock hour, it is brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com.
Now, this rain's supposed to stop, so I'm assuming the Phils will play tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rain's supposed to stop. Somebody in the YouTube chat supporting what you were saying about rooting for Paul Skeens Enough said this. Bill, even the Russians started cheering for Rocky by the end because they were witnessing greatness. And the reason I bring this up is it's pretty timely because did you see who's throwing out the first pitch tonight in the Phillies game? Ivan Drago himself. I must break you. If he dies, he dies.
Who was that tweeter again, that texter?
Enough said.
Enough said or enough said?
Enough said.
Okay.
Why you say that?
Because I know enough said.
Oh, that's
enough said.
Is the hockey guy.
Is this?
Yeah, it's not Morgani in here.
It is.
Morgani was at Talkett's presser.
All right, well.
But what do you think about that? Now, does Drago get cheered?
Of course he will.
Well, because in Rocky IV, he's the bad guy, but then they kind of win you back over in Creed 2.
Drago had nothing to do with his badness.
Yeah, you started to like him towards the end.
He was a mere pawn.
I fight for me!
Right, he was a mere pawn of the system.
The best, though, that movie. If I could change and you could change, everybody could change.
It's the worst ever.
What do you mean?
It's the worst ever.
Rocky.
That was the worst campiest crap ever, that Rocky.
Brilliant. Brilliant writing.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, Dolph Lundgren throwing out the first pitch tonight. Also, He-Man, Dolph Lundgren.
You see they try to make him, he's in commercials, they're trying to make him look younger.
Yeah. He's up there, man. How old is he now, I wonder? But why him? Is he promoting something? Like, why are you bringing him to throw out the first pick?
Wasn't he married to, wasn't he in the, that movie where they, the tall woman who was with Flavor Flav for a while?
No, I don't think
Wasn't
so.
he with
Rocky married her. You're talking about the woman who was in Rocky IV. Sylvester Stallone ended up marrying her.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, what's her name now? Yeah, she was with Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav.
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen. She was in the hot tub with Flav. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, but Bridget...
What was that? It was with Celebrity Rehab.
It was. But I think Bridget Nielsen had one point either dated Sylvester Stallone or was married. Yeah, she was married to him.
She was married to Sly?
For 2 years, 1985 to 1987. So right...
Well, in her day. And then, the Flav days were...
Age catches up to everybody.
All right. Just to do a little more housekeeping. The Fanatic Deal of the Week. Speaking of housekeeping, do you ever notice when you're in a hotel, they have it's the same tone? Housekeeping. Do they have to go to housekeeping speech school for that? Housekeeping.
Yeah, they always go up with the way they say it.
Housekeeping.
You want fluff pillow? You remember that movie, Tommy Boy?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that scene?
I remember Seinfeld where they said one tuck and one no tuck. Anyway, we're off the subject. The Fanatic Deal of the Week. 4 Trenton Thunder baseball tickets for just $30. That's half off. That's a good deal, man. It's fun to go to a minor league game, especially if you like kids. Tickets are valid for any regular season Trenton Thunder home game during the 2025 season. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last. 975thefanatic.com/deals. All right, let me ask Silvana the same question.
Okay.
Silvana, Paul Skeens goes into the 8th inning with a perfect game. What's your reaction?
I'm not happy.
You're not happy.
I'm not
I know
happy.
you're not happy because he's shutting out the Phillies. But from that moment on, for Paul Skeens, what are you rooting for?
Gosh.
You're not rooting outwardly, inwardly. Do you want to see him get it or not?
Not particularly, no. I don't think
All
I
right,
do.
well, why not?
I don't think I want to see that against my team. I think I just have too much of personal bias that I don't want to see
that would be
happen.
such a blight against your team that you would deny history.
Yep.
Yeah, don't let him change your mind.
Yep.
You have the appropriate position on this.
If it's against my team, I can't do it. It feels
Well, they're going
wrong.
to lose the game anyway. It's 5-0.
All right. I'm still not rooting for it. I don't want to be on the I don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
6-0. 7-0.
I don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
And 9-0, Savannah. This is like an auction bid here.
No, I can't do it. I feel wrong. Not with good conscience. I can't do it.
All right.
She's right on this, man. You're on an island, I'm telling you.
I am not on an island. We've had 3 calls that agree with me. We've got your chat board agreeing with me.
They're not agreeing with you.
Yes, they are.
They're not.
What are they saying? It's a violation?
They referred to Silvana as a smart lady.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's smart.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes.
Let's see. Someone told you to go away for the love of God.
Go away for
To
the
you.
love of God.
Yep, with this.
because I respect achievement. Yeah, that's the kind of world we live in.
Here's the
go
difference.
away. I respect achievement. There cannot be a bigger achievement in sports individually than throwing a no hitter. But I'm like the ogre.
It's not all anti-Mike here. So Chris says, I'm with Team Mike. If you're getting crushed 5-0 and I can see history, I'm all for it.
There you go. That's all.
I just
That's all
think
I'm saying. If it's 1-0, obviously not. You want your team to come back and win. If it's 2-0, you want your team to come back to win. Where you get into that fuzzy area is when it's 5-6-0.
No, see, Steve Butler's got the appropriate take on this. This is my position. I would applaud the no-hitter at the end of the game, but I would be actively rooting for my team to break it during the game.
All right.
That's the appropriate position.
Break
You
the
respect
guy's
it
heart.
after the
Poor
fact.
pitcher has worked his ass off to get within 5 outs of a no-hitter, and you're going to bust him.
And then poor Paul Skeens has to be comforted by his girlfriend, Livy Dunn. I don't feel bad for him, man. I'm not feeling bad for him.
So you got to bring Livy into this all the time. I'm talking about individual achievement. You know, if you grow up as a baseball player, you go, oh, my God, I can imagine one day where I'm good enough to throw a no-hitter in a Major League Baseball game. And you're just going to shoot a hole in that.
Do it against somebody else. Doesn't have to be against the Phils.
You know, I think if he did it against the Phillies, that would ruin the whole franchise. It would taint the franchise forever. I could see where you guys are coming from. Just a big fat taint. You know, we won a World Series, but oh my God, that Paul Skeens no hit us. That's a terrible thing. Come on,
you can't root
grow
for it.
up,
dude. You said you rooted for the Astros in the World Series.
I didn't root for the Astros in the World Series. I rooted for the completion of the no-hitter in my head.
And it wasn't
in
even
my
one
head.
pitcher.
I wasn't standing up going, yeah, after a strikeout. In my head, I'm going, you know what? At this point, they're down 5-0. Let's get the no-hitter. I'm here to witness history.
Yeah, you'd be wrong.
And I witnessed history. You did not. You didn't witness history. I witnessed history. I was there when history was made.
Great. And the Phils lost in the World Series. Oh, man, did you see this bad news that just got put on the board?
What's that? What, did Springsteen come back at Trump?
No.
What?
Sean Rodman's flight was canceled.
Oh, no.
He just left.
Poor
Oh,
Sean.
no.
He was all nervous.
It cost him an hour of pay.
It did. Get back here, Sean. You can co-produce.
Sean's lost to Savannah's game.
We'll switch on and off.
Poor kid, he brought his golf clubs in.
Oh,
You
he
see?
did.
He was going down to Florida for a golf trip.
Oh, no.
He brought his golf clubs to the station, the whole thing.
So what's he got to take another flight out?
I
He
don't know
said
what's
he's going to
happen.
try and go anyways and see if he could get another flight.
Good for him. He's an enterprising young lad. 610-632-0975. We'll come back after this. We'll also go over the schedule again. And, this started off our whole show because we got ripped on the morning show.
We
You
did
know that,
get
Bill?
ripped.
We got ripped.
We got ripped.
Yeah.
And when we're doing that, I'm also going to give you The Athletic did a projection model on wins and Super Bowl odds. So
Okay.
it's not us being the haters.
Yes, and the projection doesn't favor the Eagles, folks. Mike Missanelli Show continues after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Savannah Kelleher with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies return after their day off tonight at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Phils are coming off their series loss to the Cardinals, sitting at 25-18 on the season. The Pirates are 15-29. Tonight's pitching matchup is Ranger Suarez versus Andrew Heaney. First pitch is at 6:45. Flyers' new head coach Rick Tocchet spoke to the media for the first time since his hiring earlier in the show. You could catch that on 97.5thefanatic.com. NBA playoffs continue. We'll have Game 6 of Celtics-Knicks tonight live here on The Fanatic with coverage starting at 7:30. The Knicks lead 3-2 over the Celtics, and with one more win, the Knicks will book their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. This update was brought to you by Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about essential warm weather styles, $30 and under, like dresses, shoes, and bags, men's and kids looks. Find the great latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage near you. You're listening to the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
John Kincade.
Remember.
97.5 The Fanatic. Silvana, do you have access to our text board?
Of course I do.
What are the text people saying?
All right, well, actually, surprisingly, you do have a couple people that agree with you.
Of course I do, Silvana.
Well, this texter says, I was at the last Taiwan start last year against the Astros when the Phillies were getting no hit for a majority of the game. I wasn't rooting for the no-hitter, but would have given props if it was accomplished. I have to agree with Mike, respect the achievement, even if it stings.
You see, Bill, I asked you to come up with a bigger achievement, individual achievement in sports.
Then a perfect game?
Yeah. Or no-hitter. Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me. Goalie scoring a goal? But no. A goalie can only score a goal if there's an empty net. All right, what else? That's that basket. 92-foot shot? That would be just complete luck.
100-point game, maybe?
Never going to happen.
It's possible.
That's never going to happen in this day and age. Will Chamberlain did it. That's the end.
So would you actively root for a team to score 100 against the Sixers?
Would I root for Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to score 100 points?
In the NBA Finals against the Sixers? Because that's essentially what you did.
No.
With the no-hitter.
No, I wouldn't because the game would stay. Now, if it's a blowout, see, you can't win in a situation like that because even if it's a blowout, you go, why is he still in the game? So, no, that would be you wouldn't be able to score that many points against the team in the playoffs. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right. So go ahead, go through all the sports. What in football could match that kind of achievement?
Well, perfect season, but that's a team.
How about this? A perfect game by the quarterback where he goes 35 for 35 and throws for 6 touchdowns. Would you root for that against the Eagles?
No.
Of course you wouldn't.
No way.
Okay, so we're talking about one individual achievement. First of all, that would never happen because the defense would not let 35 for 35 happen.
I got one for you.
All right, go ahead.
A 57-game hitting streak.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Probably never going to happen. But I will say...
Would you root for it to happen against your team?
I would.
You would?
Because it doesn't mean that you lose. It doesn't mean you lose the game. Like, if someone had a 56-game hitting streak and they come into Citizens Bank Park, I'm rooting for them to get a hit. I want to be there to see the 57th.
Suppose that hit drives in 2 runs and gives them the lead.
Oh, it's a good one, Mike. That's a good one right there. I'm probably still rooting for it. But that would be the all-time record. I mean, that would be unbelievable.
All right, let me ask you this. If a guy bunts to get that 57th game,
I still would respect that.
You would respect it?
Oh, it'd be awesome, dude. That is the one record I don't think will ever get broken. No one's going 57
See,
straight.
This is what I'm telling you. I have now positioned that achievement as the best achievement ever. And you're going to tell me that with 4 or 5 outs left, Paul Skeens is that close to it, you wouldn't deep inside saying, you know what, we're beating this game. I hope he gets it.
Well,
you wouldn't do that.
Not for a no-hitter. A no-hitter is a great accomplishment, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as a perfect game. Perfect game, I'm still not rooting for it, but I could almost understand why you want to see
I'm
it.
starting to get you to crack.
I'm still not rooting for it.
You're cracking a little bit.
No. No. Not doing it.
All right. 610-632-0975. You're listening to Mike Missanelli Show. It is 1 o'clock. Well, it's coming up on 1 o'clock. And you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, let's get back to the Eagles. Bill, we apparently caused a kerfuffle with the morning show, who came in, probably didn't have any content this morning, and decided to use our show to generate content for their show.
They actually played me.
They played you.
Talking about the schedule.
Explain to the people what this is all about, Bill.
Well, yesterday we evaluated the schedule. We did our evaluation, our W's and L's, and I was talking about how this is a very difficult schedule. It's the 4th toughest, whether you base it off of last year's win totals or you base it off of Vegas projected win totals. It's the 4th toughest schedule. And I laid out some of the issues I thought. And then you and I did our W's and L's, and we both predicted 11 wins, which I said would be good enough to make the playoffs, but there's a chance it wouldn't be good enough to win the division. I think Washington has a shot to win the NFC East. Don't think Washington's a better team than the Eagles. I do not. I think the Eagles will beat them if they have to face each other in the playoffs. But somehow that was taken by John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas, guilty by association here, we're coming after him too. Mm-hmm. And they decided to call us the Washington Commanders pregame show. Mm-hmm. They said we're going to have Jaden Daniels' mom on today. Mm-hmm. We were going to have Josh Harris on because we predicted an 11-6
unsolicited attack on teammates right here at the radio station.
They attacked us
by the same person who got his panties in a bunch when Amy Fadul, the great Amy Fadul, called him a hypocrite for one of his views. It decided to attack us.
Attacked?
Yes.
Came after us.
Totally attacked us. Now, the caveat for us saying that maybe they end up with the same amount of wins as the Washington Commanders was that the Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions, where everybody comes after them. Everybody wants to have their A game against, it's their own Super Bowl to play the Eagles this year. To say not the least of which is they're coming off a Super Bowl season where you have to allow for a little bit of a come down, since the statistics are the teams that win the Super Bowl have a little bit of a come down the following season.
Correct. And I think it would be fair to assume the Eagles are going to have a come down just based off of how dominant they were last year. They literally won 16 of their last 17 games, and the only one they lost was when Hurts got hurt. That is not the norm in the NFL. And that was kind of my point yesterday. We have been spoiled with these long winning streaks, these 10 straight wins, these 10-1, 13-1 starts. That's probably not the case this year. We're going to have to ride the roller coaster. But not only the morning show, but other fans have come at me on that too, saying like, you're out on the Eagles, and what don't you understand?
Fans are fans. But station show on show crime, is that a violation?
I don't necessarily mind it, because the show on show crime was also when I defended Nick Sirianni. So this is the thing. I got to go after John on this. So John always says that I was on the fence when it came to the Eagles. If anyone listened to me this season, how the hell was I on the fence? I was the only guy who supported Sirianni all summer long. John thought that Sirianni was a clown. John didn't think Sirianni was a good coach, but then at the same time said, book your tickets to New Orleans.
Then he was all on board.
I don't understand that. How do you say the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl?
He bandwagoned it.
But he had been saying, I'll give him credit, early on, the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl, book your tickets, they're going to the NFC Championship game. But how could you say Sirianni's a clown but then still expect him to win? He was the one hedging his bet, not me.
I'm just saying, we took shrapnel this morning.
Killed us.
Right. Now, did we ever do that to them?
No, I don't think we have. I don't think that we have until today.
Now this has opened the floodgates.
Did Johnny open up the doors?
He opened up the floodgates.
Pandora's box has been opened.
Exactly. So let me ask the people out there. Is show-on-show crime acceptable? But what they did this morning, was that acceptable? And we're going to go over our games again. But the show-on-show crime, acceptable or over the top? A violation or not?
All right, we're going to find out what the people think. Show-on-show crime.
I don't want to put Sylvan on the spot here.
Now, I will say this. We're talking about John, and we're talking about Andrew. Brendan Gunn came at us, too. He was producing this morning. Brendan Gunn was chiming in.
A coffee boy came at us?
He was throwing in the stuff about Jaden Daniels' mom. He was saying all these things coming at us.
Okay.
So Brendan Gunn is now got a bullseye on.
I write this all down in my little book here. See, I have a little book. I got a little book. I take notes.
We got them all now on our list.
Okay. We'll play that game. We can play it.
But I said this a little bit earlier about this Athletic article. So it's not all bad for the Eagles, Mike. So they did, Austin Mock does his projections for the Athletic.
He did his mock projection.
So what they do is, they forecast the quality of each team, and then they simulate the season, and they come up with how many wins each team will have and what the percentages are for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Good news for the Eagles. It's projected that they would have 10.7 wins. So we can round that up to 11. How many wins did you say they would have?
11.
How many wins did I say they would have?
11.
And that meant we were out on the Eagles somehow.
Yeah.
That is the fourth most wins on this projected scale. The other three teams above them are all AFC teams. Good news. The Commanders, they only projected at 9 wins.
Wow.
Which then is the under of the 9.5.
Listen, maybe I'm misjudging the Commanders. It is very possible that I'm misjudging them.
Maybe I am as well. I just don't see how a team had 12 wins last year, got better in the offseason, and is going to have less. But here's where it's not good for Eagles fans. They're only giving them a 7.8% chance to win the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
7.8%.
Well, listen, it's hard to repeat. There's a lot of factors that come into play, and we just have to ride it out and see where it goes. Let's go back to the phones. Kevin is calling from New Orleans. Kevin, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Thanks for holding, bud.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate it. First off, love the show. First-time caller. I'll start out with a compliment and say you're absolutely right. 11 wins is exactly what I think. You give them 12 as long as they stay healthy. But I think 11's right in the wheelhouse. That's spot on, brothers. Now, Mike, for 30 seconds, I'm going to blast you, and I love you, but it's a violation, my man.
All right, go ahead.
3 points here. One, you want to talk about seeing history. Okay, the previous caller talked about the Chiefs winning 3 in a row. That's more rare, as in 0% history, than a no-hitter. If you want to see history, would you want Dak Prescott to throw 8 touchdowns against the Eagles in a blowout? You got to root for him from beginning to end. And even no-hitter, I argue it's not simply a team. I'm sorry, it's not simply a personal effort. It's a team effort unless it's strikeouts and 1-3 outs the entire time. So I don't know where you're coming from on this one, brother. Here's
where I'm coming from, Kevin. I respect achievement. That's where I'm coming from. Now, you might not. You might get buried in your provinciality. I respect achievement. To me, one game of a 162-game schedule is not a big deal if somebody's going to throw a no-hitter against you. It's so rare at that live-action moment that if you've got 6 outs left, I'm saying I'd rather see you do it than not.
And I tell you, Mike, I'd root for the end. I'd root for a big comeback. 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Don't care. Let the Phillies come back. Now, however, respecting achievement, 100%. Game's over. You can tell people you're at the no-hitter. I was at the Cole Hamels game that he lost in San Diego a few years ago when his brother got his first and I think maybe only hit off him. They lost 1-0 or 2-1. And I'll tell you, we pulled from the whole time. But to this day, we were going to lose. That's where I want to go. I can respect the achievement on the back end, but I got to pull from all the way through 27 outs.
Wait a minute, whose brother? Whose brother got a hit?
I'm sorry, Nola. Nola.
Nola. Oh, yeah, you said Hamels. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I get this too mixed up.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, Kevin, I got you. All right, so it's a violation, apparently, to some people.
To a lot of people, Mike. To a lot of people.
All right, I'm different. I respect, I don't get buried in provinciality to the point where I'm not going to respect somebody's great achievement. That makes me different than you.
You could respect.
I respect.
You can't root.
I respect the game and the achievement in the game. 610-632-0975.
Okay, meet.
Back after this.
Connor Thomas.
If you're an opposing team.
So Rick Tocchet will be heard at 3:30 today.
3:15, actually, I think.
3:15?
I may be wrong on that. Yeah, around in the 3 o'clock
3:15.
hour. 3 o'clock hour, Rick Tocchet coming on.
You said all the right things today. I thought it was a pretty good introductory press conference.
No, yeah, it was. Look, you don't get much at these initial press conferences, but Tockett's a guy, unlike when Sirianni gave his first press conference, it was his first time ever presenting as a head coach. Tockett's been around, so this is nothing new for him.
And he was asked a pretty good question, you said something about stability. Well, this has been a problem with this organization. Why is it stable now? And he said, we got a lot of draft picks, we got prospects, we got stability of ownership, we've got a practice facility. It's amazing. People will want to come here and play, free agents and such.
Yes, here is my favorite quote from the presser. Danny Briere said, Rick Tocchet is going to make the Flyers a more enticing place for potential free agents. And he said agents have already been calling the Flyers about coming here because of Rick Tocchet. You're not buying it? If Ray was here, I would have said, hit the horn, Ray! Hit the horn! You got it, Sil?
Come on.
I don't think that. I think that also is a little bit
The agent's
stretching
probably
the truth.
called to.
They're already picking up the phone.
Yeah, they picked up the phone. They're calling it just to say, hey, don't forget we're out here. I just want to touch base with you guys since you have a new coach. Don't forget about me when we try to do business.
Love it.
Love it. That's awesome. Back to the text board. Savannah, what do we have?
All right, so we have quite a few texts still chiming in on the no-hitter.
Uh-huh.
Now, Jason from Cherry Hill says, I 100% agree with Mike. I was at the World Series game in 22 when we got no hit, and by the 7th, I was hoping to see it. I respect the game enough to root for something bigger than the game.
I was the same. I was in the same exact spot at the game saying, you know what, they need 6 outs. At this point, what the hell?
No.
I am shocked that there are any Philadelphia Phillies fans that would agree with you on this.
It was 5-0. They were dead in the water in that game. You remember the game?
I do.
Dead in the water. They had no action at all. And the Astros brought in one flamethrower after another. It was like, gee, this is what a bullpen is.
You're even rooting for it. It wasn't even a guy doing it. It was 5.
It doesn't matter. It wasn't 5. Was it 5?
I think they pieced together 5 pitchers in that game.
And every one of them came in throwing flames. So it's like, they're beating you. They beat you with flame.
Well, I'm pulling up the box score. This is absurd. On your
what else you got, Savannah? It's good. People are coming at me, I know.
It was 4 pitchers.
Not
4
really.
pitchers. No? See, people are smart. People are smarter than you give them credit for, Bill. You think there's a bunch of dummies out there. People know what achievement is.
Stupid. You know who was on the mound for the Phils in that game to start?
Noli?
Nola.
I was going to guess Nola.
He only went 4. He gave up 3 earned.
Noli.
He had a rough 5th inning.
He did. Who? Give me the Astros pitchers that came in rapid succession.
So Javier was the starter.
Javier started.
He went 6 innings, struck out 9, but he walked 2, ruining the perfect game.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Abreu, Montero, and Presley.
Abreu and Montero and Presley. Abreu came in throwing flame.
It's absurd.
That dude.
You're rooting for this. And the series was 2-1 at that point, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a pivotal game.
Pivotal. And there's Mikey Astro.
Mikey
Astro in there. Yeah.
See what he does?
Woo!
See what he does? I didn't say a peep. I did not cheer after outs. I just
Montero!
I sat there. I think I had a beer. I sat there nursing a beer. And I'm going, you know what? This would be pretty cool if they pull it off.
I can't believe you admitted
I did.
this. Can't believe you're admitting this.
I got to admit.
I can't believe it.
All right, let's go back to the phones. We got Joe and Trenton. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up? Well, I can't get Joe up. What's going on?
Huh.
Oh, let me see. Hold on a second. Yeah, we got a phone system. Blink.
Yeah, because
you get that call on, Savannah?
Let me see.
The hold thing is not green. It's usually green.
Yeah, the phone system.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
Maybe all the we got frozen again.
Oh, no, I'm going to test it.
The rain must be messing with the.
He just dropped
the whole
off
thing,
too.
and he dropped off.
He wanted to talk about Ricky.
He wanted to talk about Rick Tocchet.
About Tocchet man.
You should do that. Do the Tocchet man lyrics. Do you have any lyrics?
The phones are going through. You know what it is that's going to make it difficult to do the lyrics? I would need the song underneath of it, you know? But I am working on some some lyrics because it's like,
Oh, gosh.
and I think it's going to be a long, long climb back to the playoffs, one goal at a time. But we believe we got a plan. No, 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 no. We've got the Talking Man.
It's actually not bad.
Talking Man burning down the ice with a gritty plan.
The tune is not that good. But the lyrics
What do you
aren't
think,
bad
Sil?
for on the fly.
I'm not, for all the
I was
fly,
jotting it
wasn't that
down
bad.
during his presser. I'm working on it. Although people in the chat earlier said, look, we hung in there with you with Sirianni Love, but anything else is just cringe and we're out.
That is true. You already stretched it too much with that.
Yeah. Hey, it brought us all the way to a Super Bowl.
It's going to
man.
be a long, long time. 50 years to be exact. 610-632-09. We got our phones back, so on the other side, we'll get Joe from Trenton who wants to talk about Rick Tocchet. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Savannah Kelleher with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies return after their day off tonight at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Phils are coming off their series loss to the Cardinals, sitting at 25-18 on the season. The Pirates are 15-29. Tonight's pitching matchup is Ranger Suarez versus Andrew Heaney. First pitch is at 6:45. Flyers' new head coach Rick Tocchet spoke to the media for the first time since his hire earlier in the show. You can catch that on 97.5thefanatic.com. He'll also be joining the afternoon show at 3:15. NBA playoffs continue. We'll have Game 6 of Celtics Knicks tonight live right here on The Fanatic with coverage starting at 7:30. The Knicks lead 3-2 over the Celtics, and with one more win, the Knicks will book their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. This update was brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry in now through July 31st. Learn more at MBUSA.com/stream. You're listening to the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
I can no longer get on Trey Turner. Now, whether Rob Thompson did this or not on purpose, he told us what he wanted Trey Turner to do.
Talking Phillies baseball.
Basically, get on base. He wants him hitting 300. So that tells me he wants him to be a hitter, just to take the ball where it's pitched, get on base, wants him to steal 40 bags and score over 100 runs. I think he has a defined role with the Phillies.
Listen to him weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Miss here. If you're in the market for a new ride, how about if you check out Gateway Kia? 2 dealerships. One's in Warrington, one's in Quakertown. Visit Gateway Kia today because they have more than 400 vehicles in stock. You'll find a car that fits your needs and budget. Now, if you're looking for an SUV, let me steer you right to the Telluride, the Kia Telluride. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm driving it right now. I have tested this car every which way. It's loaded with cutting-edge tech. It's got built-in Wi-Fi. It delivers an unbelievably smooth but powerful ride. You take this thing on the highway, you want to pass somebody, you got the guts to do it. It's got 3 seats. It can carry a lot of people. It can carry a lot of cargo. And Gateway Kia is a place to go because they're family-owned and operated. And it's nice to do business with a family-run dealership. They truly go the extra mile to take care of their customer because they want you coming back. They'll offer you a loaner car every time your car comes in for service if you need. They'll give you a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the car. And best of all, you can shop right now online from the comfort of your own home at shopgatewaykia.com. That's shopgatewaykia.com. You want to visit the dealerships? They're in Warrington and Quakertown. Whichever is closest to you, check it out and tell them Mike Missanelli sent you. Or better yet, start your search right now at shopgatewaykia.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Show. We have one more time to go over the NFL Eagles schedule, but you get the Pirates in this weekend for your fighting Phillies. You like a sweep for the Pirates, or are you giving the Pirates one game? And what will it be the lineup tonight? If Castellanos just had a baby,
he's probably out.
Nick won't be on paternity leave.
So Nick's probably out tonight, and there's a left-hander on the mound for the Pirates and Andrew Heaney. Here's the interesting thing. So you're probably going to have Weston Wilson in left tonight. My man Dub.
Your man is in the lineup. You're rooting for him.
And they'll probably move Kepler to right.
Okay.
But then the question I have for you, with a lefty on the mound, you're coming off of an off day.
Sosa, second base.
I don't love it.
Sosa.
Like, I understand wanting to get Sosa some reps, but when you're already coming off of a day where you had the day off, you're going to sit Stott again? I don't know.
Sosa in the lineup tonight. You know he likes to get that guy at bats. This is a chance for him to get at bats. You know he's going to be in there.
You're probably right.
That's your dollar.
You're probably right. Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. That's what Rob Thompson's going to do. I don't love it. But you think Weston Wilson in left, Kepler in right, probably?
Yeah, that's the way it'll go tonight.
How many games does Castellanos miss for the baby? You think he misses the series or just one?
One game. I think he'll be back tomorrow. One game.
Just
good
one.
enough. He likes to play.
He does. He never misses games, man.
So he'll be back tomorrow.
All right, so you got Ranger Suarez on the mound tonight, Wheeler on the mound tomorrow, and Sanchez on the mound on Sunday against Skeens. You got to take at least 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm asking you whether they can sweep. Could they beat Skeens?
They can, but if they take 2 or 3, I'm happy. Get back taking those series. You know I like to count the series, and they just lost one. It was their first one after winning 5 straight. Let's get back in the winning column, take the series. They can make a little bit of a run now. They got an easier schedule coming up.
All right. Let's go over our wins and losses one more time so people can rip us because we only have 11. Here's what I have. Opening day win Thursday, Cowboys. At Chiefs, loss, revenge. Home, rebound against the Rams and win again over the Rams at home. Then they go to Tampa Bay, and for some reason, they like the warm weather a little too much, but they don't play well on it. Lost, 2-2. Then 4 straight wins I got. They're on a roll. Broncos, at the Giants, at the Vikings. Giants into the bye. Bill, I got them into the bye. 6-2. Coming out of the bye. Yeah. I ignore Nick Sirianni's just glistening record coming out of a bye of 8-1 because at 8-1, they haven't played the Packers at Lambeau. I go at the Packers loss, and then the Lions been itching to beat up on the Eagles. Sunday Night Football, the Lions get their day. Dan Campbell emerges victorious, much to the chagrin of Bill Colarulo. Loss. Then at Cowboys, win. They sweep the Cowboys this year. Win against the Bears. Win at the Chargers. Win against the Raiders. In a game, I may put $1 million on that money line. Then 2 losses on the road. At Commanders, at Bills, loss. Rebound the last game of the year, an important game. Win over the Commanders, which may give the Eagles the division at 11-6 and keep the Commanders stuck on 10 wins.
It could happen that way.
That's the way I got it.
Yeah, it's not an easy schedule. You know, no matter how you dice it up, the no back-to-back home games. I've been seeing, I don't know if this is accurate, but I've been seeing they're the first Super Bowl winner ever to not get back-to-back home games the following year. Mm-hmm. I know it hasn't happened with the Eagles since 2008, but I can't confirm no Super Bowl teams ever, but that sounds accurate. Yeah, I got them winning the first 2 games. I don't think Kansas City's going to be that good this year. I'm going on the record of saying that. I do not think they're going to be that good. I don't see them going 15-2 again like they did last year. So I got them winning the first 2, coming back home, losing that revenge game to the Rams, going to Tampa. Todd Bowles continues to be the kryptonite for Jalen Hurts. They lose that one. They're 2-2. They bounce back with 2 wins against Denver and then a bad Giants team. Now you're 4-2. I got them losing on the road in Minnesota, though. Minnesota's coming off of a bye. It's in Minnesota. You're getting J.J. McCarthy early in the year. Maybe there's not a lot of tape on him. 5-2. Excuse me, 5-3, and then they beat the Giants again. 6-3 at the bye. No, that can't be right.
No, they're not.
5-3 at the bye. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I knew
5-3
wasn't adding up. 5-3 at the bye. Coming off the bye, Sirianni's lights out. Going to Green Bay. 6-3. Coming home on a short week. Detroit's all fired up. Dan Campbell's biting ankles and kneecaps. They lose that game.
I can't believe you're saying that. You're giving in to your boy. I can't believe it.
Only for that. 6-4. Then they win at Dallas, 7-4. Win at home against Chicago on Black Friday, 8-4. Beat the Chargers, 9-4. Beat the Raiders, 10-4. We're feeling good. Number 1 seed in our reach. They're going to lose 2 straight. They're going to lose on the road in Washington. They're going to lose on the road in Buffalo. And then they'll bounce back with a big Week 18 win. Finish the season 11-6. Definitely a playoff spot. Not sure if it's enough to win the division, though.
Got a 6 sense of humor scheduling that Buffalo game that late in the season.
Oh, it's going to be snow, man. They're hoping for a snowy day.
All right, there you go. That's where we are. We're going to take the heat. We might give them pick them 14 wins.
Now, someone did tag me in something. Hold on, I want to see if I can find this because we've been talking about how hard the schedule is. But Jeff Kerr put something out that was a little bit more in their favor. Let me see if I could find this here. The Philadelphia Eagles will have 8 or more days rest before facing 5 of their toughest opponents. They're going to have 10 days rest against the Chiefs, 10 days rest against the Vikings, 15 days rest against the Packers, 10 days rest against the Chargers, and 8 days rest against the Bills. Now, all of those are road games, but the Eagles are getting 8 or more days rest.
Might come into play against Buffalo.
That could be helpful.
That could be the 12th win. All right, let's get back to the phones. Joe and Trenton back with us. Joe, thanks for coming back.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
I haven't talked to you in a long time, buddy.
How's it going, Joe?
Good. I remember show on show crime when somebody was ready to punch somebody and I stopped them in Medford, New Jersey. I don't know if you remember that.
Was I ready to punch the guy that had a beard?
Yes, you were. And I had to stop you, and I was like, "What are you out of your mind?"
That may have happened almost every day, by the way.
I know, but this time you stormed off, and then the next day I gave you both greeting cards that says the next week I gave you cards.
That was nice of you. That was the most miserable time of my life. But anyway, go ahead.
So on Tocchet, I'm all for it, any kind of fight that this team has. But since the salary cap, this team stinks. And they stink, and I hate when they use, and since they keep using this vernacular orange and black, it's orange and putrid. Please stop it. Please. And when I hear orange and black, I want to get sick to my stomach.
Orange and the black. Yeah, Bill's got his Flyers T-shirt on today. Bill's representing.
Yeah. Well,
Damn right.
Let's call it black and orange and reverse it.
Oh.
As it is, the stadium's. The stadium, First Union, nothing. Core State's nothing. Wachovia, nothing. Not what? And this is for both teams. The Sixers too. Nobody wins in that stadium. So hopefully now that they're not a bank, maybe it's Comcast. Maybe now the jinx is over. It must be an Indian burial ground. It's the only thing I could think of that there's not one winning team that ever came out of that stadium. Okay, so I don't understand it. So. And as far as the no hitter, I'm exactly with you on that. I would root for it. As it is, I gave my daughter a ticket one time. She saw a no hitter. I gave my other daughter another ticket. She saw a cycle, and I'm like,
and you'll never see. That's a memory that always will be there.
Yeah, well, they got them, and unfortunately, I didn't. And I have them for 10 wins. Also, it's a brutal schedule, Mike.
Oh,
brutal
10. I think they'll do a little better than 10. 10 is a little low. I mean, they're a good team. Let's face it. I don't want to get too down on them here. I'm just looking at 11 because of all these factors that follow a team that's won the Super Bowl the year before.
Yeah, and it's you play a first place schedule, but like we've talked about, every team is up. Like every team wants to beat the Super Bowl champ. So it's not going to be easy. And the main issue for me is the roller coaster ride. Because I said this yesterday, we're so used to the last 3 years, even though we haven't always been happy with the way it's looked, they've won a lot of games, and they've won a lot of games in a row to start seasons. The 10-1 start, the 13-1 start. Last year, even though they started 2-2, they went on an unbelievable tear where they just didn't lose again with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. They didn't lose. So I think this year, as a fan base, we're going to have to get used to up and down, and riding that coaster all the way to the playoffs. But this team is good, and I do expect them to be the best team in the NFC. I just don't know if they're going to be the number 1 seed or even win their own division. But when the playoffs come, this should be the team that gets there.
All right, let's go back to Sam in Ewing, New Jersey. Sam, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Sam?
Hey, I'm just calling in reference to where you guys was talking about if someone pitch a no-hitter against the team that you're rooting for, would you jump on board and give the kudos to the person who's going? And I said, absolutely not. Not against my team, maybe against another team. Now, if it was a perfect game, then maybe I could see, but not out loud. I'll give them kudos.
No. I'm not saying anybody should do it out loud. If you're a Phillies fan and you're getting no hit, and you kind of secretly are like, it wouldn't be a bad thing if he completes this for the guy because it's such a great achievement. But you're not like standing up and clapping after every strikeout.
No, not me. If it's against my team, no. I don't want to see no spectacular happen against my team that I'm rooting for.
Let me ask you this: what's the big deal, Sam? What's the big deal? It's one game in like 1,000 games that you'll see.
Listen to this. Some other team is getting enshrined or getting high rates about beating my team. So all the glory goes to the other team.
Whose fault is it? It's your team's fault.
Well,
for getting no hit.
It is ours. It is ours. Here's another scenario. When Hank Aaron was coming into town, playing the Phillies back at the Veterans Stadium, when they came in town, he had a chance to break the home run record. Do you think I was cheering for him to break the home run record against the Phillies?
Wait, hold on a second. You didn't want to see Hank Aaron hit a home run just because it was against the Phillies? Are you kidding me?
To break the record.
Who cares? Who cares? It was the greatest record of all time. You actually didn't want to.
Understand.
Oh, come on, man. You're going a little too far now.
Listen. I'm just a sellout for my team.
Yeah, I can see, but come on, man. You're getting ridiculous now.
I don't listen, and that's just me. I don't want nothing spectacular against the opposition to have my team. And now, in a roundabout way, like you said, I'm still going to give the person the kudos after the fact.
So let me get this straight. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
The score's 6-0. He takes a no-hitter into the 9th inning. You're telling me you don't want to see him complete that?
If it's a perfect game, yes, I want to see.
But not a no-hitter.
If it's just a no-hitter, then I'm cheering for my guy. Every one of them guys come up and get a hit.
Oh, my God. I swear, this is so petty. I agree. You don't want Hank Aaron to break the record against his own team. What's the difference?
Hank Aaron may be a little bit different. But I'm still looking for video footage trying to confirm. I heard you had a trash can and you were hitting it every time Aaron Nola was throwing a curveball in that World Series.
See what you do? You see what you do?
You were tipping him off to the Astros.
You have to pile on, don't you? See what he does, Silvana? He's a pile-oner.
Needler.
He's a pile-oner.
Silvana's Team Bill on this, all right?
No,
Her and I go
Silvana's
way
not
back.
Team Bill. Silvana doesn't even like
I had
Bill.
to hear a lot of Sirianni talk last summer.
Yeah, damn right. She doesn't even like you for all that stuff.
It did drive me a little nuts.
It
but
did.
He did wind up being right, so I guess
everybody
I can't
nuts
hate too
here.
much.
She came around.
As Sirianni was winning, it drove everybody nuts. 610-632-0975. We'll squeeze in a call if you want to call in, and we'll get back to our text board as we come down the home stretch of the Preakness, where journalist finishes third. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
ESPN's Adam Schefter.
scenario by you to see if you would have this kind of dedication. It's a very weird story. I had a pair of jeans. I didn't like the color anymore. They were too dark. They were more of a darker denim. Savannah can weigh in on this too. She probably has an affection for nice jeans.
I think you've worn.
So,
those jeans you've worn here before.
I do have a lot of
No. I'm not talking about those gray ones.
Oh, you're not talking about
this
those.
is the blue.
The ones that were shedding that day.
Yeah,
remember?
they're shedding.
That's not these.
No, this was the like kind of a darker denim. So I go, I want these lighter. So I took a shot, and I put them in with bleach.
That's risky, dude. Because I'm sure your jeans aren't cheap jeans.
I didn't like. It got to a point where I wasn't going to wear the jeans anyway. I was going to give them away, unless I could transform them.
So you tie-dyed them?
No, I didn't tie-dye them. I just put them in the wash with bleach, like it was a load of whites. Well, the jeans turned pink. I thought I was going to get a lighter blue out of it. It turned pink. So then I got a useless pair of jeans. Now I re-dyed them.
Dude.
It turned pink?
Wait a minute. No, I re-dyed them denim color. And with RIT dye. Have you ever used RIT dye on clothes?
Never, dude.
No?
No.
You put them in a bucket, you have water, and you put the dye in there, and you leave it in there for a while, and they came out this spectacular blue. I mean, spectacular light blue, just the way I wanted them.
I would never. You're asking about a level of commitment?
Level of commitment to a pair of jeans that fit nice, but you just go, they're too dark. I don't like the color of them.
Well, first of all, why'd you buy them?
Well, I bought them when darker was in. I like a lighter jean now.
See, I would think the pink jeans would have been a nice way to peacock.
No.
I've never seen pink jeans before.
They turned pink.
No.
The blue dye came out. I'm thinking the blue dye would come out, but it would make it a lighter blue. Instead, all the dye came out, and it was pink.
Wait, you wearing them now?
No. I'm not wearing them now.
They're
still drying. I just took them out of the bin there, and I hung them up outside. And today they got drenched.
Oh,
because they're outside. All
They're outside
all the
trying to
dye's
dry.
probably gone. It's
know.
all probably
I don't know. The dye may have got drained out. But did you admire that dedication to a pair of jeans, though?
I do admire it because, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a girl and there's a million different types of colors of jeans, even for the same exact style. So I would just return them and get a different color. But to figure out how to dye them and everything, I don't know if I've loved an item of clothing that much.
I've had, it was either that or just give up on them. And I was willing to give up on them. I go, I'm going to give these jeans away. Well, I packaged a lot of clothes and put them in the Goodwill bin. And just to freshen it up, get rid of stuff. So I was going to do that. I go, let me just try one little thing here. So I did the bleach action. It turned pink. I had to re-dye them. Now they're spectacular.
Well, they were until the rain.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the rain did to them today.
Anyway, I wouldn't have that level of dedication.
No,
definitely.
The dye was like $5.
The pink would have done it for me.
You would have done pink?
No, I would have. That would have deterred me. I would have said, all right, this has gone too far.
Really? And you would have given up?
Yes.
Yeah, I had to salvage. I couldn't be defeated by the washing machine. Washing machine is not going to defeat me. Bleach is not going to defeat me, Bill.
Let me ask you a deeper question about jeans for a second.
Go right ahead.
A deeper question about jeans.
How often do you wash your jeans? How many wears before you wash them?
2.
You go 2?
Yeah.
So you weighing in on this?
Ooh. I think probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, I've been always trying to figure out how many times you should wear it before you wash it.
Yeah,
I tend to get stains on mine very easily. Like, I always drop food on my pants. So I'm
jeans when you have them for a couple of years lose their shape unless you wash them and crisp them back up. Like I don't put my jeans in the dryer. I like when they dry stiff.
I don't put mine in the dryer either.
Yeah, the dryers are evil.
Yes, you're supposed to do that.
Dryers will kill your jeans.
You're supposed to also turn them inside out for whatever reason.
Yeah,
cold water.
That.
It could. Like I've researched this before, and I just looked at it again, and I thought there's a huge, what's the word? Disparity.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't think of the word for a second.
Yeah, well, that doesn't.
It says it's recommended to wash your jeans anywhere between 3 to 10 wears. That's a big difference. 3 to 10.
Yeah,
wears.
My Levi's, I think, say something similar.
I'm telling you, after 2, I lose my shape. I need them stiff. I need the stiff jeans.
See, I think washing them always kind of destroys the jean.
No, washing them when you drip dry them gives them a stiffness again.
So you
it
take 'em
revitalizes the jeans.
So you take them out of the washer and you do not
hang
dry
them. I hang them over a shower curtain.
See, I always have issues with, now that we're going down this road, I've purchased clothes before that say hand wash. Who has
Never
the
in my
time to
life.
hand wash?
Nobody hand wash.
Never.
What do you
Never
do
in my
with it
life.
then?
You put it on a delicate cycle.
Yes. That's what I do. Cold.
Because I'm thinking, who's going to hand wash
You
this?
don't know your way around a washing machine because you've had women do all your work all your life, right?
Listen, I was an only child of an Italian mother.
So the Italian mother did all your work.
I didn't do a lot of
You
laundry.
had 2 wives that do all your work now.
My poor wife now, I try to help. I don't help enough, actually.
You don't look like a helper in any capacity.
I gotta help more.
You got probably 2 thumbs. You probably don't know how to wash a load of wash.
I'm actually slightly in the doghouse right now. From my lack.
Oh, you are?
My lack of helping at night. Like the baby wakes up and my wife needs a night of sleep. I'll just go there.
You work 10 to 2.
I
Pick
work
up
with
the child.
I work with Mike, for God's sakes. I got to be on my heels.
See what he
Oh, my goodness.
See what he does
Or
again?
on my toes, not on my heels.
Savannah's figuring you out today.
So this weekend, I'm thinking I'm going to have to sacrifice the sleep and help out a little bit. Or if not, I'm going to be in trouble.
You haven't played golf at all.
I have not.
I mean, that's a sacrifice in itself that she should be looking at.
I hope she's listening. You hear that?
Let's go to Hal in Naples. Hal, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Hal?
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
What's going on, Hal?
Hey, Mike, listen, I just heard you going over.
Oh, we lost you. Hal, we lost your audio. Hal, where'd you go? You drifted away into the ozone.
That was crazy.
What happened to Hal? Hold on a second. I'll put him on hold. See if we can clear him up. He had a question about the Eagles' schedule. Let me get back to him. Hey, Hal. Hal. He's gone. What happened? He got detached.
I don't know what happened. He was about to make a great point.
He was. It sounded like he was. Hal, you got to call back before we get out of here. All right, back to the text board we
Dying
go.
to know what that question was.
Yeah, Hal's got to call back.
Now, someone wants to say that not drying your jeans is psychotic. Who's walking around being scratched and chafed all day?
No, you see, you missed the point of jeans. Jeans have to stay fresh. Like when you dry them, you've made them too pliable. Like there's a different, and plus you're destroying your jeans when you dry it. You're shrinking them. You're messing them up. You should not dry jeans at all.
Tumble dry low, maybe?
No.
You're not
even
supposed to.
tumble dry. You just hang them up. They dry naturally. They feel like crisp, like you just bought them at the store. You know, a nice pair of jeans when you a nice fresh new pair of jeans, how they fit on you.
It's the best.
It is.
I actually need a lot of new clothes, man. As you saw at the golf tournament.
What do you need new clothes for? Well, you just wear T-shirts.
My pants have got a little tight.
You wear small T-shirts.
My pants got a little tight. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go get some new clothes.
Oh, your pants are getting a little tight?
Yeah, a little bit.
But you like that?
Not this tight. Oh, we got Hal back.
All right. Let's see if we can get him back. His phone went kablooey on me here. Busy. We were busy.
Oh, sure. He's probably talking to Hal out there.
Probably explaining what happened.
Oh, okay. All right, come on, Hal. Now the whole world is waiting for Hal's call now as we're getting ready to get
It
out
better
of
be
here.
a good question.
It better
There
be.
it is.
Hal, are you on?
You got to pull him up.
Oh, hello, Hal.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good. What happened to you here?
I don't know. You guys cut me off.
No, we didn't cut you off.
Anyway, listen. I heard you going down the schedule, the Eagles schedule.
Yes.
You said about the Oakland, the money line. Save your money.
What do you mean?
Well, there he goes again.
Wait, he's hitting the button on his phone or something. Hal, you can't hit the button. There you go. Hal?
It sounds like he's dropping his phone.
He's hitting a button on his phone and he's putting it on like silent or something.
I'm on the edge of my seat with his pointer.
You know what? Just check. Just texted it
He's
at
saying
this point.
save my money for the Raiders game. Because I
That
said
was
I
it.
bet $1 zillion on the money line against the Raiders in that game.
Oh, man. All right, look, before we get out of here, speaking of money line, Phil's huge favorites tonight, Mike.
What are they?
Minus 230 on the money line.
Oh, jeez.
Minus 230. I think this could be.
I might take the 1.5. That's probably a good bet tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only minus 114. with
Yeah,
the
you got to take the 1.5. That almost seems like stealing. Like, why would you bet the money line with a minus 1.5?
Yeah, you're probably right.
I might have to go there.
You're going that, and
I
then
just put a couple bets on the PGA.
And then what are you taking tonight for the Celtics game?
Oh, Bill, you going to press me to this?
Celtics.
I don't
plus
even know.
2.5.
I don't even know where to go. This could be a game time decision for me. But in any event, we had a great week. Thanks everybody for listening and calling and keeping us alive again on the phones. It's a beautiful thing when we have phone calls where we can actually talk to the people. The rain has stopped. It looks like it's clearing up for a nice weekend. So everybody have a great weekend and be safe out there. And we'll talk to you Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.